Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, bringing you the self-proclaimed Mr. Box Office. He wants to come on and debate me over a few issues. Of course, Jack is hosting tonight. And boys, ladies and gentlemen out there, we are back for the run-in, the Champions League run-in between now and the end of the season. I cannot wait, and I hope you are all excited, and it starts this weekend. Let's go. Come on, you Spurs. But of course, actually, I need to sort something out here. Alex, he shouldn't be up here beside me. He's not on my level. So we'll switch him and Jack there. But Jack, how are you keeping, my man?
It's good, David. It's good to see you guys trying to rattle each other's cages in the background. They're already going at it before the match even started between the two. It's maybe find out, maybe Dave, who's, actually been missing, who's been hiding. We'll find out who has homework still to turn in at the end of this. As always, it's good to see what Alex, has to think on some really good topics, to be fair, Dave. And because he can kind of open our eyes, I think, on certain answers, but might also find on the opposite end on other answers as well. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it can either open your eyes or make you fall asleep, Jack. We'll find out. But look, ladies and gentlemen, we have sent out the search party. Alex has turned in his latest homework from the last time he appeared on here, and we finally found him. We had to knock on a few doors, but we have finally found him. It's the self-proclaimed Mr. Box Office. Alex, how are you keeping, my man?
Oh my gosh, how much waffle was that? Honestly, what the waffle was that? My goodness sake. Honestly, you need to do your homework, David. Honestly, I've never heard such waffle in my whole life. Honestly, Mr. Box Office is back in the building, like they're saying. Mr. Box Office needs to talk some truth into people. Like I said, truth hurts.
Are you bringing the truth
Truth
today,
hurts, and truth is going to be spoken in this stream right now, especially to Mr. David Harris, who needs some lessons in truth. You know what I mean? Let's go.
Yeah, look, I want you to hold on to them words and just hold on to them for the very last question, and just remind yourself that the truth does hurt. But look, before we get into it, we are going to crack on and see what guests we do have in the Irish Hotspur Army joining us on a Thursday evening. We have Adam McFarlane, so negative, this man. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Adam. Big up, my man.
No, he's bringing the truth. That's what he says, Adam. He's bringing the truth. That's all it is. The truth may be
Spurs
negative.
fan that goes to games and does everything he needs to do at the end of the day. Sorry, Mr. Negative.
I'll be fair. He even bikes to the games as well. He shows up in full biking gear. Shows up in full biking gear as well.
I'm quite happy where I am at the moment. You know what I mean? Not Mr. Negative. I can tell you that for a fact. Anyway,
we have Moondog. He says, good evening, guys. Big up, Moondog. I hope you're keeping well. We have Dermot. He says, ladies and gentlemen, is there... it's here, the matchup we've all been waiting for, with 1,000 in attendance and people watching around the world live from Kildare, Ireland and Brooklyn, New York. The one thing left to say, let's get ready to rumble. Introducing the man from County Kildare, Ireland, to the one and only David Irish Huddle Hotspur Harris, and his partner in crime, Jack Statsman Waddle Kanicki. And in the blue corner, the man who says Winks is world class, the one and only Alex Winky Ben Davies. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army.
Come on, you Alex Davies Army. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Big up there.
And he also says celebrating 5 months with a member super chat saying, big up David and Jack. This is the best channel around, and we all appreciate you both very much and all the work you do. Let's get this top 4 and bring the glory days back to the lane.
That's what I'm talking about.
Dermot with the hype man immediately.
And it all starts back with getting top 4 this season, and that's what I cannot wait. The run-in is happening. It's something Alex never thought would happen this season. I'm sure he's shaking in his chair right now, but top 4 is well and truly on. Dermot, big yourself up, my man. What an absolute legend and a general of the army. We'll keep cracking on through the chat, and then we'll crack on. Chris says, this is going to be entertaining. Alex, have you got your homework? Cody Mack says, box office in the house, baby. Big up, Cody Mack. Hope you're keeping well. We also have the Bertie 1008. Big up, Harris and Flat Cap Army. Let's go. Great to see Alex in wonderful Wonderland will be joining us today. Come on, you Spurs, top 4, hashtag back Conte, hashtag trophies next season. Alex in Wonderland, I do like that. Big up the Bertie. We also have Matt C. Good evening, guys. So pumped for the game on Sunday. Been missing it. Big up, Matt T. And same here. I am absolutely pumped. Look, international break wasn't too bad for us Irish folks. I mean, 2-2 draw with ranked #1 nation in the world. And then beat Lithuania with a Troy Parrott last-minute screamer. So, I mean, hasn't been too bad for Ireland, but I want Tottenham back, baby. Big up, Matt T. We have Adrian Soroka says this should be fun.
Big up, Adrian.
It should be fun, or else, you might need a bit of Panadol. We'll wait and see. Big up, Adrian. Welsh Gal says, big up, you lovely lads and lassies. Greetings to all the Harris Army and the Flat Cap Army. Big up, Welsh Gal. I hope you're keeping well. We've got Amzo. Big up, David and Jack. Hope you're all well. Loved your recent vlog in London. Looking forward to seeing this great debate with Alex. Big up, Amzo. I hope you are keeping well, my man. It's good to see you back.
Great, and
I'm glad you enjoyed the vlog as well. We really enjoyed our day. Paro Miguel Escobardo says, good evening. Big up, Paro. Hope you're keeping well.
Legend.
We also have Boise 36. Come on, you Spurs. Big up,
and
Boise.
Ripsy 85 celebrating 8 months as a member, Dave, saying, love the show, guys. 7 months of awesome.
Wow, big up, Ribsy. It's good to see you're still enjoying it and still tuning in, my man. I hope you're loving life down under as well. Big up, Ribsy, and I hope you're keeping well. And 7 months, that's a long time member, Ribsy. You're an absolute general. Kevin Ferguson says, please, no, Alex. I'm sorry, we had to do it. He's been hiding for too long.
He's got some truths to bring. According to him, Kevin.
Truths in Alex's mind, but we know what they're like. King Hoddle says, evening, I'm here to hear how Alex, the contrarian, thinks we should proceed. I'm convinced his plans can work and get us into League Two within 5 years. Absolutely love that. Big up, King Hoddle. Paul says, how's it going, lads? Hope you have both had a good day. Not long until Sunday. We've had a great day, my man, and I cannot wait until Sunday. Big up, Paul. We have Adam Phillips, Europa better. Haha, yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Do you know what? That's why I put Alex on the thumbnail, so people would understand that it's... I'm trying to tell Alex we want Champions League, basically. Jimmy Costco says, Mr. Brighton are a better team than us. Tom J is laughing. Big up, Tom J. Hope you keep him out. Who else have we got in the house there? Just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody.
I think we got...
Alex says, come on, you Spurs. Big yourself up.
We got Island Life as well. Wemberley in the house.
Island Life says, good day, lads. And Arsenal spy Alex. Wemberley one is in the house.
I'm not an Arsenal fan, mate. You know what I mean? It makes you feel better, mate. I'm not an Arsenal fan because going to Tottenham games, I'm using all my money back in the team, you know what I mean? Going to the stadium. You're not really an Arsenal fan if you're doing that, mate. You know what I mean? Clever comment.
Might be the best spy of all time, or he could be the best
keep going, mate, because you really are clutching at straws when you're saying that, mate. But good for you. Thanks for the comment, mate.
We'll welcome in a few more and then we'll get cracking. Wembley one says, if we assume that Levy doesn't invest at anywhere near the required level in the summer, why change a 2-decade habit? Wouldn't that thin squad be better off without any European football? Look, that's probably the argument that some people are going to make.
Worst case scenario, decent argument. Worst case scenario, decent argument. Yeah.
It is, but look, for me, it's always got to be Champions League. Big Boss Man says, Alex, listen to your teachers tonight. Love it, absolutely love it. You tell him, Big Boss Man. Zoe says, big up, lads. Good to see you back, Alex. Big up, Zoe. Big up, Zoe. Dave Tyson says, evening, lads. Big up, Dave. We've also got Cara Simpson. Evening, gents. I hope you're all well. We're all good, my man. I hope you're keeping well. We've also got Ricky Nados. Big up, Jack and David. Come on, you Spurs. Great show. Really appreciate that, Ricky. And we've also got Matt Hayes in the house. Matty, I hope you're keeping well. And I'd say you're looking forward to getting over there for the game. He says, I've met these two. I've met 2 out of these 3 legends. You're next, Jack.
Yeah, big up, Matty. I also, Dave, he put a Twitter post about his Opta analyst. He's doing a comparison between, I think, Christian Romero and Ben White or something like that. And I just started salivating. I can't wait for that to be posted by Matty. Looking forward to it. Big up, Matty.
Yeah, that will be good. Big up, Matty. Let me know when that drops. Send me a link before it drops, lad. I want to get a good read on that. Big up, Matty. Matty, the article, man.
I started salivating, Dave. I just thought about all the ways Romero I don't know. I'm going to make the prediction. Romero is way more of a 50 million pound defender than Ben White ever was.
Yeah, well, look, there's definitely a good argument for that, of course. And Jamie Marshall says, West Ham get battered everywhere they go. Everywhere they go. Big up, Jamie. I hope you're keeping well, my man. But look, guys, we are going to hand it off to Jack and let him start firing out some of these questions. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you smash that subscribe button if you are new. And guys, feel free to jump ahead of the queue and stop us at any stage and get your super chat in with your questions, and we will get straight to it. Super chats do take priority. Now, look, we know it is a big bad world out there, and not everybody's in a position to do it. We will get everybody's chat up on screen as we go along. But like I said, a super chat does just mean you skip the queue. We'll get straight to it, and then we'll have a good discussion on it, guys. And it is a great way to help support this channel going forward. And we have a lot planned for next season as well already in the pipeline. So it'll be a massive help towards that. But look, Jacko, let's get into it, my man. Let Mr. Box Office rip off there.
Let's let him go. But what's a bit crazy here, everybody, is, speaking to Alex, while over in London, and there was something that he and I actually kind of sort of had some agreements on, and it had to do with this potential of, what if we get Europa League versus what if we get Champions League? What are the benefits of either? What are maybe the damages of either? And it is kind of an interesting topic. And the race for top 4 is on. There's a lot of pressure to get there. But the question really tonight is, could top 4 be maybe an overachievement, maybe for Conte this season? And could maybe Europa League be a better campaign for us in actuality next season? Alex, maybe your initial thoughts on it. Is Champions League, it does draw in the better players, maybe in the transfer market. But what are your thoughts on maybe why Europa League could perhaps be, actually better for us maybe next season?
Champions League is an absolute myth. An absolute myth. With us getting Champions League, we'd just be embarrassing next season. We're just going to be taking part. We'd be back in Europa League anyway. So it's just, for me, we're not good enough to get top 4. Like I said, Kane FC ain't going to get top 4. You know what I mean? So, like I said, we're not going to get 70 points. So I told you, we're not going to get Champions League. I'll stick by that. You know what I mean? Simple. And like I said before, this team's got a lot to improve on. It needs a rebuild, a huge rebuild. If you get Champions League, you're going to have to rebuild it completely, absolutely completely, to even compete. So
do you think Levy would invest to make a Champions League squad? Do you feel like Levy would invest in the squad enough to make a Champions League squad?
It depends on what makes sense at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And who's in charge of looking at the players at the end of the day? It's going to be Paratici. I'm going to keep my counsel on Paratici for some reasons, for reasons that I'm not going to go on about. But my point is, at the moment, this team's nowhere near getting into top 4. And like I said before, there is negatives, Matt, and I'll tell you that for a fact as well, mate. I will tell you for a fact, Matt, that there is negatives in it, because we're not good enough to get into Champions League. You can't compete with people like Barcelona, Real Madrid, doing that on weekly occasions. Definitely,
Alex. I mean, to help your point here, the last time an underdog won the Champions League was, in fact, that Jose Mourinho's Porto, which I believe is I could be wrong between the dates, but 2004, I think it was. All the way back then was the last time, some sort of underdog won the Champions League. Let's say we get out of our group, in the Champions League, do you feel like that could be maybe then a failed sort of campaign, maybe in Europe? Because once we get out of the group, we're going to come up against Real Madrid or whatever.
The point I'm making is we moan about not winning trophies. We moan about not winning trophies, right? The best thing for Tottenham at the moment is going to competitions that we've got a chance of winning. We've got a chance of winning the Europa League. Now, I know that Conte's got a thing about not doing well in Europe. Now, for me,
he's made the final of the Europa League, and he's won, and he almost won.
Exactly. So if you're looking at it from there, you're better off going into Europa League, win that, get into Champions League. That's a better mentality there. That's it straight away. Now, for me, that's better for Tottenham. Forget Conference League, because I can't have that another embarrassment like this year. To be honest with you, we should have done better this year. And if Leicester win it this year, and West Ham win the Europa League this year, they've had a better season than Tottenham, even if we get Champions League. So, and that would be a game changer for them, like it should have been a game changer for us last season. But let's not go there about last season. You know what I mean? But at the moment, the best thing for Tottenham at the moment is get Europa League football. 100% for me at the moment. If we get Champions League, great, fantastic. Okay, we move on. But in my eyes, it's by default, because Manchester United are an absolute mess at the moment. And to be honest with you, I think they're still going to get Champions League anyway.
Let's say Arsenal get Champions League.
They'll be embarrassing next season.
But,
They'll be embarrassing.
But Alex,
Absolutely
would you
embarrassing.
say, would we be better off then maybe than Arsenal being in the Europa League?
Because they'll be embarrassing next season. They're in dreamland. That's their trophy. That is their trophy. Literally
Where we
their
would
trophy.
actually be pursuing a trophy maybe in the Europa League.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they think it's going to it's compelled them to stardom. I don't think they realise when you're in Champions League, you're going to do Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday on a Saturday or at lunchtime, and you players have got to be ready. And our squad's not even ready yet. You haven't even got a clue. And like I said before, 2 players coming from Juventus. I'm not going to say the word because actually rejects, but they're not doing too badly as rejects. Let's be honest, they're not doing too bad, right? You're not going to tell me that that's going to give us chances of doing stuff in the future next season.
Maybe 3 more rejects through the door, and we actually, might have actually a full squad, capable in the Champions League.
We'll see what happens anyway. But to be fair, I'm not really having a go at the 2 players. I'm having a go at Paratici, but I'm having a go at Paratici, to be honest with you. But like I said, I'm going to keep quiet on that one for reasons anyway.
It makes sense to have a go at the guy that's brought in the 2 players that have transformed this season. It makes sense, yeah.
It makes sense that he should have done better, mate. You know what I mean? If he's that great. If he's that great, he could have done more, to be honest with you. Like I said, Paul Mitchell, Steve Hitchen. I don't need to say anymore. I don't need to say anymore. So that's all they need to say. I'll let you dig a hole for yourself now, David. Here's the floor. Here's the floor. Go on, mate.
Who's good opening arguments from Alex, honestly. But Ribsy 85.
Yeah. And then I'll respond to Alex.
Good to have Ribsy back in here. And he's saying, I love how getting the top 4 in the Prem isn't a measure of being good enough. You have to pass Alex's opinion of goodness. Instead, 4th is 4th. It would be an absolute achievement. I mean, it's kind of just been the battle for who's been the best besides Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City, because they've been in a league of their own, if we're going to be honest, this whole season. And it's basically a battle of who can be that next best team alongside them, which you could say is actually a bit harder maybe than other years. It's not really, the top 3 have been quite immense and quite significantly better than the rest. So you would say that battle for 4th is actually a bit tougher than most would imagine. But I don't know. I think maybe there were some convincing arguments laid down there in terms of if you want to go for a trophy, maybe Ribsy, perhaps the Europa League is a better pathway. But Dave, anything to say to Ribsy?
Yeah, Ribsy, look, just completely disregard what Alex has said there. Absolutely everything. Look, to say that, being 4th, like we're not good enough, this, that, and the other. Look, despite not being good enough, somehow this team has fought and clawed their way back into it. And like Alex, I think Alex actually said we're miles off it. We're actually only 3 points off of Alex. So I don't know when the last time it was when you looked at the league table, to be honest with you, my man, but we're only 3 points off it. We're well in the mix. We've got Newcastle coming up. Not going to be an easy game, but it's a game we should be winning. And we stay in the mix. And then we hand it off to Arsenal, who are playing on Monday night, to see if we can get the victory done, if they're young, if their squad, the young squad, if they're naive and the pressure gets to them. But look, in terms of top 4, I don't get how UEFA League, UEFA Europa League, UEFA Cup, whatever they want to call it nowadays, is going to benefit Tottenham Hotspur, to be honest with you. Because, look, I'll settle for it if it comes to it. I'll take it. I just want to be back in Europe next season. But look, we have to look at it. Top 4, okay, if we do get it, it is an overachievement. 100% it's an overachievement. But at the end of the day, we've got it. First of all, being in the Champions League, it brings you better revenue than being in the UEFA Cup or the Europa Conference League. You get into the group stage, even if you do finish 3rd, you still go into the UEFA Cup or the Europa League, so you're still in Europe. And plus, we also have to remember, you have Newcastle who's going to spend big this summer. You have United who's going to spend big this summer. Arsenal will probably go and spend big this summer as well, not being too far outside the top 4. And there's going to be a lot of clubs. Chelsea will get new owners. They might even improve again. So there's going to be a lot of clubs chasing that top 4 spot right now. And we don't have the money that some of them clubs have. So I'd much rather be the team that's holding on to the Champions League spot rather than chasing it. Because I fear if we do chase it, we'll always be chasing that top 4 spot, and we don't have the money to match some of the spending power that will be going on. So we have a chance to be able to redeem ourselves, get ourselves back into Champions League, add 4, 5, maybe 6 players to this squad, and really push on next season. Okay. Like, look, we could end up getting it drawn into a group of death, but we've come out of it before, and we ended up making a Champions League final. This Tottenham team. And plus,
what if you make it to the knockout rounds, Dave, and maybe you get handed, like a Bayern Munich or something right away? I mean, do you feel like that's okay at the end of the day? Would you rather just pursue something else? I mean, maybe with the Europa League, the argument is there's something there that they still could be alive.
Bayern Munich, that gives me a hard on. I wake up with a raging hard on. I mean, going out and playing Apoel Nicosia, I mean, it doesn't do anything for me. There's different levels in these competitions. And at the end of the day, I'd rather be in there mixing it up with the big boys, because it's where we all want to be, rather than down in the Europa Conference League with the likes of a Celtic or a Rangers and, Midtjylland and stuff like that. That's not where we should be. I'll settle for that. But at the end of the day, if we want to kick on, Champions League will help us in terms of you'll probably get maybe slightly higher echelon of player that might come to you. Plus, it's crucial for Antonio Conte. It's crucial for Harry Kane as well. It's absolutely imperative for this club that we get Champions League football, more in terms of the people that we and the personnel we want to keep at this club than the transfer window. Because I do believe transfer window, even we've seen it already, that we've been able to get in some of the players we've got in from Champions League team playing clubs. They've wanted to come to Tottenham Hotspur. But in order to keep Harry Kane and Antonio Conte, Champions League is absolutely vital.
Let's say, we don't get, Champions League, David. Let's say we just narrowly miss out. Do you think that really does hurt our chances of, keeping Conte around and, keeping Harry Kane around?
No, look, Champions League makes it easier.
Yeah, it makes it not a no question. Maybe it makes it,
I still think as long as Conte stays, Kane will stay. And I do believe Conte will see out maybe 18 months of the contract. But look, that those all depend what is spent this summer, though, to be fair.
And then a follow-up, Dave. Do you feel like, I think I agree, not having Champions League, it hurts, the draw maybe for certain, players that we're trying to get in the transfer market. But do you feel like maybe just being a Premier League club, being a club in London, having Antonio Conte, having Kane and Son, could that be already enough draw maybe for, top players?
I mean, of course it is. Of course it is. Look, we already have Kulusevski, Kane and Son. It's only going to get better next season.
But do we then need Champions League, to draw them in even more? Is that just, maybe more just a cherry or whipped cream, kind of thing? I think maybe Europa League could then also be enough for them, because Europa League could be an easier competition for some of those players.
I think Champions League will make it easier for us in terms if we're competing with the likes of Newcastle and teams like that for players. I think Champions League will make it easier for them to come to us, because regardless whether we like it or not this summer, we will be competing with Newcastle, who, if they like a player that we're going for, they're going to throw the money at, and more than likely they'll get them. If we have Champions League, that completely changes the mindset of the player, and they'll probably come to Tottenham. So I do think in terms of clubs that we're competing with, it definitely help.
Interesting. Kyle Patrick Vineyard celebrating 2 months, saying, yes, yes, Jack, Dave, and Alex. How are you doing? Come on, you Spurs. Kyle, I would say he's probably won for me, I think 2 times in a row the last, fan shows, Dave. He's won for me like lines of the evening, statements of the evening. I absolutely love Kyle, and it's good to have him for pre-match pump-up. Hopefully we'll have him as well. Coming up for on We Are Time TV, because I think he absolutely dominates that as well. Big up Kyle. William Kelly saying, to be the best, you have to face the best.
I want to respond to what David just said.
First of all, we'll just take super chat first, Alex.
Oh, you're going.
Look, exactly. If you want to
call yourself the best, you have to be the best.
Look, if you want to play the best and you want to test yourself against the best in order to be the best, it's all one sort of cycle, my man, and you have to be able to get the Champions League. And I mean, look, us fans, and I don't know about Alex, I mean, maybe Alex will be happy with us playing some team from Kazakhstan, but I'd much rather be playing the elite of the elite every week, to be honest with you.
Big up.
If Alex would have made the argument due to Antonio Conte's record this season in terms of more than 3 days or less than 3 days to prepare compared to 6 days to prepare, maybe he has a case. But he didn't bring that up.
Well, you just waffled, mate. You just waffled on. And to be honest with you, that was waffle from what you just said before, to be honest with you. Because like what I said before, you just mentioned about Manchester United. You mentioned Manchester United and Newcastle buy players. Okay. Look what happened to Manchester United last year, bruv.
Yeah.
What happened to Manchester United last year and the 2 years before that as well? They got Champions League. What happened afterwards? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I'm sorry, that is absolute rubbish that you just said again.
Look at the players.
By the way, and also another thing as well. I need to just
Alex, look at the players United attracted this.
Okay, yeah, but look where they are in the league at the moment. So let's just go on, and then haven't won anything, haven't they, since then as well? So let's move on because we want to be a top club, don't we? Let's move on because you've already had your 20 minutes of fame. You've already had your 5 minutes of fame. You've already had your 5 minutes of fame. You've already had your 5 minutes of fame, David. Let me have a speak and then let me carry on.
Got the truth coming. The truth is coming.
Let the truth set you free, like they always said. As well, okay, and then you're saying, "Oh, we need to go to get top 4 to keep Conte and Kane in the building as well." That is not a strategy, bruv. That is not a strategy. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. If you're stating to try and keep Kane and Conte in the building at Tottenham because you want Champions League, that is not a strategy. That is now relying on 2 people. And again, that's not a strategy going forward. That is only going to go wrong next season, as far as I'm concerned. The only reason we are in the position that we are in at the moment because we've got a prime manager like Conte in the building. And I don't give credit to Paratici for that. I've got to say that
or maybe because we kept Kane this season, Alex. Maybe would you say that as well? If we didn't have
like
Kane,
I said, it was pathetic last summer. All we were talking about was the manager search. But also Kane, and that's all we were talking about. And look what happened in the summer. It was a joke last summer, wasn't it? Absolute joke last summer. You know what I mean? The reason why people look at Tottenham and only speak about Kane is because we only talk about Kane. And then we realise, when then we think about it, and then think about it and thinking hard and thinking, why do we not get a striker in? Well, who do we talk about loads of the time? Oh, Harry Kane.
Well, I mean, we have one.
There's no strategy. There's absolutely no strategy.
Alex, do you think
Alex, the strategy is to get into the Champions League and improve the team. That's the strategy.
Well, it don't make sense at all, bruv.
Well, if you want to improve this team, you build around the 2 best people to do it, and that's Conte and Harry Kane.
So you give them all the work to do then. So the fact is, at the moment, if you look at the goal scorers at the moment, Kane, Son, top goal scorers. Who's the next goal scorer? Oh, own goals.
Alex,
and
in order
Danny
to
said to me,
get...
the reason why we got own goals is because we put in the ball in the right positions.
Yeah.
What is about clutching at straws? That's clutching at straws, bro. That's clutching at straws.
Alex,
oh my gosh, I've never heard such rubbish in my life. Anyway, carry on that, Jack.
No, Alex, to answer this question, do you feel like having Harry Kane and Son, having Conte, having even a European competition to be participating in, do you feel like that could be enough, for to get the right players in? Or do you think Champions League is the end all be all in terms of getting the right players in to, help out Harry Kane and Son and not be so dependent on those 2?
The strategy should be, right, Europe should be, whether we're in the Europa League or Champions League, Europa League should be a gear to a trophy, and to try and win something major. As far as I'm concerned, because at the end of the day, next season we could go on and win the Carabao Cup. For me, that's not really anything. It's not going to do anything for me because we've done that before. We didn't do anything afterwards. You see what I'm saying? Maybe the FA Cup would have been something else, but Europa League is a game changer, an absolute game changer.
Can you even say that without smiling?
No, I can say it because I said it last season. If we won the Europa League last season, it was a game changer. Because if you win the Europa League, you get back into the Champions League, and it's a top competition at the end of the day. I understand the Conference League. I understand. I understand why people got their issues with it. We should have done better in it this year. We should have actually tried to win it this year to get back into Europa League. That would have been a minimum for me this season. 100% minimum, even in Nuno, 100%. But for me, this year, as progress, and Prachi keeps on talking about, he says long-term planning here. Long-term, we talk about long-term, not short-term, long-term. This is the buzzword that he keeps on saying, Paratici now.
Europa League is better for long-term planning, I guess.
This is long-term planning. Now, if he's brought in Conte just for short-term, that's stupid. Because the fact is, he's not gonna be here that long. He wants to win now. I'm sorry, all this thing about I want to plan, this is going to take a long time and everything else. Sorry, your record says you're not going to be at the club for a very long time. That's not blaming Conte, by the way, because Conte's been very, very good. Let's just say that because he's done miracles with that squad. I mean, you just have to look at Doherty. Yeah. You know what I mean? You just have to see Doherty and see what's going on with him. And that's it. That's all you need to say, and that's it. So,
Alex,
that's it.
I just want to ask you this. We'll get to the bottom due to Super Chat first, but, maybe to help your point. The bottom Duda, though, is saying we should be targeting top 4 and get a Champions League place. If we get drawn to a tough group, do enough and drop down to the Europa and win it if it's the rule. I mean, that would be, I think, the most ideal scenario, actually, Dave, is you get that Champions League money. You then get into the Champions League groups. You actually get a sneaky, kind of bypass into the knockout rounds via third place. You then can go on and win Europa League. I think that would be the most ideal scenario, to be honest. But I think my bit of a worry is, let's say we end up getting an easy group, in the Champions League, which we did see a few of, this season. The kind of, it wasn't as much kind of spread out. There were kind of some real group of deaths, and then there were some easier groups. I would be a bit worried. Let's say we just, get 15 points and, slide right on by, that we might end up, just being thrown a Bayern Munich or a Real Madrid or a PSG right away, which, could be fun. And like you said, Dave, maybe cause something down under to happen. But at the same time, you might, think, oh, well, there goes a trophy, out the door. But what do you think, Dave? Like, this would be the most ideal scenario, I guess, is what the bottom Duda is saying.
Well, it doesn't even, no, it doesn't have to be. I mean, why can't we go on into the Champions League and compete? I mean, laugh at me all you want, but we bet City this season. We've drew at Liverpool, and they're the two favourites to go and win the competition this season. So why do we have to go in there? Why can't we compete? We've already got to a final when we were in it before. No one thought we'd get there. On our day, we can beat anybody. On our day, you add a bit more signings to what we've already got this summer. We're going in there and competing. We're not going in there to be laughed at. Big up the bottom, do it.
Absolutely, yeah. I think, Dave, that was a good actual, bit of a mic drop there. But Alex, do we have a better chance of you winning the Europa League than maybe the Champions League, the Premier League, or the FA Cup? Is it a more achievable trophy than you actually think about it? Because the FA Cup, it's really only been won by the most top teams in the Premier League each year, even the League Cup as well. The Premier League has only been shared by, just a few or a couple, the past few years. Would we actually have a better chance of winning the Europa League than maybe any other competition when you think about it?
100%. We've got a bit of. We should be aiming to win the competition. Definitely, 100%.
Could it just be
easier?
Just
to go back on the David's point. There was no mic drop there because he was just chatting again nonsense again. So I've got to be honest. Honestly, the most waffle coming out your mouth is honestly worrying.
Alex,
to be honest with you, mate, you need to do your homework.
Anyway, moving on. Let me respond to that, because you're saying it's waffle, right? But I'm going to put the honey on top of your waffles because you like them so much. But I know you said earlier on the truth hurts, but I'm going to lay down some truth. What I said is factual. We beat City. Facts. You watched it with your own eyes.
We beat City. Now we're going on about that.
No, let me finish.
We're not talking about Barcelona, are we? Real Madrid.
Let me finish.
We're not talking about Real Madrid, are we?
Alex, let me finish. Let me finish, right?
Go on, then.
Now, I am going to mic drop you the second time.
Oh, mic drop me the second time.
Yeah, let me finish. Liverpool, right? We also drew at them this season. Now, out of all the teams around Europe, they are the two favourites to win this competition. So if we can get results off them, why can't we beat anybody else? And why can't we go and compete in the Champions League? And we've already got to the final of it, and we didn't get that far in the Europa League at all. So I'm sorry to tell you, but it's not.
All right, okay. It's time for story time with Alex now. It's time for story time with Alex. Mr. Box Office is back in the building, and he needs to talk some sense into this guy. Let's go back into the Liverpool game, by the way. How many players were out in that game, by the way, mate? How many players? How many players were out of that game, by the way? How many players?
Started
at the Liverpool game. How many players? Right? Pardon? How many players were out that game?
Midfield.
But how many players were out that game? You see what I'm saying? It's absolute nonsense that you're talking about. You see what I'm saying? Champions League is completely different to the Premier League, bro. So I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, we might have a chance, but you basing it on because we beaten Man City, which we had less possession that game, by the way. Okay. Yes, we did very well. It was a fantastic performance, but we did well in terms of performance-wise. But you're telling me that, you're basing it on that? Come on now, bro. Come on now, bro. What are you talking about? Right, no, it's not about drop, bro. It's not what are you talking about, bro? Because you're talking about facts and everything else, bro. What are you talking about? I've never heard something rubbish in my whole life, bro.
I just want to say something else to you as well.
What other things you're going to say now, bro? Oh, my gosh. This guy wants 2 minutes of fame, bro. Honestly.
He raises some good points there, Dave. I've
never heard something rubbish in my life.
Yeah, no, he does, but I'm going to raise all them points. And this is why I'm the teacher, Jack, because Alex talking about Europa League. Who did we get knocked out to last season?
Pardon?
Who did we get knocked out to in the Europa League last season?
Dinamo Zagreb.
Okay, so we can't get to the final of the Europa League, but we've got to the final of the Champions League. But Alex talking about winning the finals of the Europa League.
Who was manager
all
then,
these points are irrelevant.
Who was manager then, Buff? Who was manager?
Jose Mourinho.
Who was manager when we got to Champions League final, Buff? Who was Pochettino? Exactly. And look at the luck that we had during that time. We had a bad run during that time as well. Not blaming Pochettino, by the way, because he was a very good manager. There was certain things that were going on there. But look what happened then. Look at the luck that we had during that time frame as well. And you're basing it on that.
Well, you need luck to get to the Europa League final. We haven't got
you're basing it on that, though. I'm sorry, bro. That's just absolute waffle, rubbish. And if you believe that, you believe going to Disneyland, mate. You know what I mean?
Well, no, it's facts that we've done better.
It's absolute rubbish. Yes, we got to the final, but you can't base it on that. Look what happened since then, bro. We got Mourinho in. Look what happened.
Let me get this straight, Alex.
What are you talking about?
Okay,
what are you actually talking about?
I just want to get this straight. Well, amongst all your waffles. So basically, what you're saying is
I'm actually talking sense, bro.
No, let me finish. I can't base my opinion on competing in the Champions League off us getting to a final.
That was 3 years ago.
No, let me finish. But we haven't got to a UEFA Cup final, but it's okay for you to base your opinion on going and winning that.
Well, our level's Europa League.
We've had more joy in the Champions League than we have the Europa League. And it's that simple.
That's our level. That is our level. KFC ain't getting top. KFC not getting to Champions League, bruv. You're telling me that we're going to get Champions League final, bruv? You need to build that squad completely to get Champions League. Trying to compete in Champions League, compete in FA Cup, compete in the Premier League, compete in Carabao Cup. So you're thinking that squad's going to be able to cope with it? What if Kane gets injured, bruv? What if Kane gets injured? We're screaming about Dyer getting injured, bruv. We're screaming about Dyer getting injured.
Yeah, but
that's
Alex,
how bad we're talking about now. We're screaming about Dyer getting injured.
Are you forgetting
we're about Dyer getting injured?
Alex, do you think we improved the squad enough for the Champions League?
This guy.
Do we improve the squad enough for the Champions League? Could we actually have a good enough squad, to be able to compete in the Champions League and the Premier League, after the summer?
Spot on, Joe.
Well, we're going to have to improve the squad if we're going to compete in all four competitions. Yes, definitely. 100%.
And that's why we have a summer transfer window before the Champions League comes around if we get there, to be able to do that.
Okay, so what's happened in the previous window, bro? The way that you're going on, it's like, things are going to absolutely change, completely change. You know what I mean? Well, I know Conte can do miracles. I know Conte's done miracles with this squad at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, there's only so much he can do. And the thing is, though, it's going to be Wednesday. It's going to be midweek weekend, midweek weekend, midweek weekend, midweek weekend, midweek weekend. So we're going to have to cope with that. We've been moaning about that this season.
Alex, do you feel like a Thursday night game, though? A Thursday night game could be then fewer days, to be able to come back. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Because that would be my worry, is that, Tuesday and Wednesday would be most of the Champions League games. It's a good midweek game versus Thursday is always, kind of those Europa League nights. I mean, would you be kind of worried about that?
We might have a Wednesday game and we have to play on a Saturday morning.
Alex, only night off work is Thursdays. That's why he wants Europa League.
It's so funny, bro. Honestly, you're now going to trying to banter me, bro, man, because you know that you're losing on this one, man.
I'm
You know that you're losing. You know you're clutching at straws, bro. Honestly, the violin's coming out, bro, man. It's playing some sweet lose it for you, bro. Because David's he's clutching at straws so much, bro. Honestly, bro. Honestly, this is so much fun, you know. Honestly. Bloody hell, Bob. Let's just get it right now, man, because Mr. Box Office needs to talk some sense into these people, Bob.
Look,
Mr. Jack Kanecki, Mr. David Harris. Yours truly needs to talk some sense into both of you, Bob, because like I said before, let's get it right here. We need to be sensible here. Our team is not good enough to get top 4. We need to realise that we need to figure out a way of playing out Kane. We need to try and settle in Kulusevski and Bentancur, who at the end of the day have played very well, but they still need time, as far as I'm concerned, because the best of them will be next season, because no one really knows about them at the moment. You still need to sort out that defence, because you've got Davis at the moment is playing very well at the moment. You're relying on Dyer. That says a lot. And then you've got that midfield, which I still don't think is good enough, with Højbjerg and Bentancur at the end of the day. And the wing backs are left to be desired. Even though I like Sessegnon, Reguilón, there's question marks whether he's going to stay or go. And the right side is still a question mark as well. So at the end of the day, there's still a squad. And at the end of the day, we still don't even use Bergwijn. And people are saying that he should go. And I just need to remind people about Bergwijn. He played well against West Ham in the Carabao Cup. He played very well. He was the man of the match. What happened? He gets benched. What happened after Leicester? He was effective after Leicester. We didn't play well in that game. Only last 10 minutes. He played well in that game. Got us back into the game. Won us the last game of the last minute of the game. What happened afterwards? He gets benched. And then he's wondering why he wants to leave now. You're having a laugh. You're wondering, having a laugh.
Okay, so just to come in on some of them, there's a lot of mumbo jumbo there. But look, when it comes to Dyer and Davies, are you now conceding to me, like I've been saying this for the last year and a half to you, that we need to improve upon them? So now you're agreeing with me after a year and a half that we now need to improve on Dyer and Davies. That's what you just said.
I didn't say that I was going to need to improve on Davis.
No, you did. You said Dyer.
I said Davis is all right, but Davis needs to be improved on. Davis needs some competition. Yes, definitely. In terms of, but he's been playing very well. Dyer, no, I didn't say that. I said Davis has played very, very well. But when we're starting to say that when Davis gets injured, that starts to worry me a little bit, because that's again basing again on the squad again, putting a question mark on the squad again. So again, we need we need someone to back him up, or to compete with his position at the end of the day. So that's what I'm saying to you at the end of the day. But then Dyer, I will say, he's playing okay. He's playing okay.
I believe
there's still vulnerabilities about him.
Less said, the better. So I presume that means you are conceding. So you are admitting that we need to improve on them two positions. So I'm glad after a year and a half you have seen the light. The bat signals.
Oh, David, you didn't convince me at all, bro. You were just banging on about.
No, I didn't convince you.
You're the one person that kept on saying, "Oh, I don't like Dyer." You kept on calling him a name. I'm not going to refer to him. Yeah, you kept on calling him Moon Boots, which is that's your prerogative if you want to say that. Yes, I mean, I would say this at the end of the day. I mean, he's a foreign player, technically a foreign player. So if there's an offer for him and there's no offer for Sanchez, I'll let him go. Yes, I would. So
we've got you conceding on that on them.
Well, I have to say it because he's a foreign player. Technically, he's a foreign player. So it's not. No. Don't put words in my mouth. Do not put words in my mouth, David. Do not put words in my mouth. Naughty. Don't put words in my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth. Naughty. No.
Back off the mic step.
Alex, get your saying, because we got some super chats.
Go on.
No, Alex, no. David's been over you. You gotta get your saying.
My point is that he's okay. He's leading the defense, and he's doing well. But if there's an offer for him, I would let him go. You see, if there's no offer for Sanchez, I'll keep him. That's what I'm saying, because he's a foreign player at the end of the day, that Dyer. So he's susceptible to let him go. He has to perform well. He has to perform well, like Sanchez, like all our foreign players. Unfortunately, because of the rule of how many foreign players you can only have in your squad, they are susceptible to us to let him go, unfortunately, because of that rule of how many foreign players you're allowed in the squad. Because if you want to bring in other foreign players in the squad, you're going to have to let go of foreign players, unfortunately. That's the letter of the law, unfortunately, with the rules, especially in Europe, unfortunately. So that's my argument, and that's it.
Right, so we're finally conceding on Dyer and Davies after a year and a half. So that's absolutely brilliant. So I agree.
That's your words, not my words. I didn't say that, but that's your words.
Well,
That's coming from your words. That's your words, not my words. So David, if you want to refer to that, that's your. But that's not what I said. That's not what I said at all. That's your words, not my words. That's it.
Okay, tomato, same sort of thing, same concept. But we did. But look, we'll take these super chats, and then Jack, I'll let you ask me the next question because I feel like Alex has been speaking for the last 20 minutes.
Tom Tantra Gold saying we at Spurs have to aim high. Even if we fail aiming high. Words by Bill Nick. Everyone entitled to their opinion. To be honest, I think we can compete in all competitions. I'd rather aim high than not at all. Kind of similar, Dave, to William Kelly's, in order to be the best, you have to play the best. So, maybe it's a bit of a Spursy mentality, perhaps, to think that Europa League is, a bit better for us. In order for us to consider to be, a big club, in order to act like a big club, you have to play the big clubs.
Jack, sorry to interrupt you. We're not Spursy. This Spursy thing needs to stop.
Right.
It needs to stop going on. We are not
Fair
Spursy.
play, Alex, I agree.
Well,
you know what I mean? I'm sorry, no, but it's a load of rubbish. It's an absolute load of rubbish. Other teams say it to us, and I just completely ignore them.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I hate
at the end of the day, we are not Spursy. We keep on calling ourselves Spursy because we feel sorry for ourselves. We are not Spursy.
Right.
At the end of the day, look at the years past. Look at the years past when we're mid-table mediocrity. Sorry if I got that wrong. Mediocrity. Sorry, my words are not clear enough there. But we were basically always 7th, 12th sometimes. We're in a better position than we were before. Yes, we are a better position than we were before. We are just not getting to that level where people want us to, get to that next level. And that's it. And that's the frustration at the moment. But we are not Spursy. You know what I mean? The only reason why we've not been good enough, that's the thing. But I've been banging on about we're not good enough anyway. And that's it. So when we have bad results like Middlesbrough, Southampton, Wolves, that was expected because we weren't good enough. At least we're playing better football. And we saw against West Ham, we did play better football, didn't we? So that's it. You know what I mean? So that's credit to Conte, and that's it.
On the term Spursy, I mean, look, I hate the word. I think it should be banned. But Alex calling for Europa League when we're in a Champions League race, I'm sorry, is Spursy. It lives up to the definition of the word. Now, I know he can say, I don't want to be Spursy, but then do that in your actions. Actions speak louder than words. So that's what I would say.
Don't talk to me about actions other than words when I go to the game every single day and I'm backing the team every single day with my money, Bob. So don't go on about that, bro. Honestly, don't do that to me, bro, because honestly, you're going to get bantered out the building. You're going to get bantered out the building. So don't go there with me. Do not go there with me about bantering me about, you're being Spursy because you're being like, we want Champions League and don't want Champions League and all that. Banking the team. I back the team every single time, going to the stadium every single day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
go to every home game every
other day.
Don't go on about me bantering. No.
No.
Mr. David Harris needs to behave himself really hard, Bob. If you're gonna go on about that, about bantering, saying about me being Spursy, I'm not Spursy. Going to the stadium every single week, bro. So and put my money every single week. Davies. That's backing the team, bro. That's backing the team. So as far as I'm concerned, me going to the stadium and giving my own opinions, that don't make a blind bit of difference because I'm paying my money to do that and give my support that way. And that's what's giving the support to the club as well. So that's all I'm saying. And I need to state this as well. That's not having to go at people who can't go to the stadium because it's hard at the moment. People, you can see at the moment, it's very, very hard. So I'm not having to go at people and saying that. I'm just saying for myself. I back the team every single time by going to the stadium every single week. So I'm sorry, I'm not having it. And that's not having to go at David. That's having to go at everybody else that has a go at me saying I'm Mr. Ty. And that's it. So I'm moving on.
No, but look, Dermot, I know why you brought up the Spursy term, but Alex, the definition of Spursy is what Alex was saying here. I'd rather Europa League than Conference League. I mean, at the end of the day, we all would rather, we all sit here complaining we want to be back in Champions League, we want to compete for trophies, we want to win trophies. The only way of doing that is by getting in amongst the best, starting to compete with the best, and then eventually overtaking the best. It's all a stepping stone in the process. Sitting in the Europa League is not going to do that, and I could not agree more, Dermot. So, yeah, look, I don't like the term Spursy, but don't preach about being, don't liking the word, and then ultimately being Spursy. The bottom dude with the super chat says, we can definitely go deep in the Champions League. I just meant we don't have to avoid top 4 to in turn avoid Champions League. We can still get Europa. Conte will demand big investments, though, as he himself has a lot to prove.
I think the bottom Duda was bringing up, like, Dave, like the most ideal scenario where you basically get all the Champions League money and revenue you could ask for. Also, the notoriety of being able to be above Arsenal, of course, finishing in that top 4. And then let's say you get a tough group, you get like a group of like a Man City and a Real Madrid or something in the same group as you. You end up being, maybe knocked out into Europa League, where you could make the argument maybe it's not an easier trophy for us considering the history, but you're still in a very key competition, and you still got all the Champions League revenue you could have hoped for, in order to fund maybe some transfers and also get that Champions League draw of players as well. And I think that's what the bottom Duda was saying, where that is kind of to a degree a perfect scenario, to be honest. And I kind of
for me, it's worst case scenario if we get Champions League football. I'd rather get out the Champions League and go into the knockouts and see what happens than drop down. And look, worst case scenario is if we don't get out the groups, rather than finishing 4th, I'd rather finish 3rd and go into the Europa League.
Interesting. Yeah. No, the bottom dude, I think, was trying to find, maybe the middle table, or the
No, that's being Spursy.
They got the bottom dude.
I will really say this. I will say this. I don't want West Ham winning Europa League. That would be disaster. Absolute disaster. Well, unfortunately, mate, they beat the holders, so they've got a chance. Well, they've got a chance, unfortunately, and I don't want another season being below them. That was disaster. Absolute disaster. Leicester winning the FA Cup, absolute disaster. Absolute disaster.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about other teams. I know.
No, I'm not talking about other teams. I'm just saying. No. But I know you want to not think about it, David. But unfortunately, that's reality. So, like I said, Mr. Box Office needs to talk some truth into you, and that's it.
I mean,
so
honestly, you should send out a flare, and you've got to talk about it. Like I had to do with Brian. When did you come down to reality?
Not Brian from Tottenham on tour, not Brian Daigle, the other Brian. Big up to him, by the way, because he's a decent guy. I love him, by the way. But like I had to do with Brian, talk some sense into him. I've got to talk some sense into you as well. Like I said to you before, we can't just be oblivious to the fact that these teams are doing better than us. And Leicester City winning the FA Cup cut me up big time, massively. You know what I mean? And players are going to that club because they're well run and know their strategy and everything else as well. And that's a question mark I've got on our fantastic managing director Paratici at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
We're going to get to that later, Alex. We're going to get to that.
I don't want to go there anyway. Yeah, you're right. Later, but like I said, it's a good. Sorry, I had to say it. I had to say that anyway.
I think you brought in some good truths here, Alex. And to be fair, Dave, Alex, he turned in the homework when we met with him. He showed us, the homework that he'd been waiting to turn into us. He decided to turn it in personally. And to be fair to him, Dave, he's got a clean slate, and he's just feeling big on himself. He's feeling confident. And you got to be honest, when you turn in the big stack of homework, kind of get a big release off the shoulder. So I do see where he's coming from. William McKenzie with a very generous donation, Dave. And as well as saying, come on, you Spurs. And also to bottom Duda and Dermot as well. Very generous
Legends,
as well.
Really do appreciate the support.
William McKenzie as well, though, always really absolutely just always there, Dave. Almost feels like he's here for every single show. Love him on Twitter as well. I must say, William McKenzie.
He's a good New Zealander.
Yeah. And I would say they actually have a chance at potential World Cup qualification, actually, as well, the New Zealand. I think they're coming up against Costa Rica. All I would say, William, is tough to get past Keylor Navas. I will say he's still good to this day, and he feels like he has superpowers for Costa Rica whenever he plays for them. But William, really appreciate it, and really, really generous.
Chris Wood could be the man, though. He could
love
be
Chris Wood.
It's hard to
Goat Wood.
All you need is one ball into the box, lad. It's all you need. One ball into the box, and that man can change a game.
To be fair, also Chile, they don't really have the tallest of center backs. So Chris the Goat Wood, rise above them like an absolute tree, like an absolute phoenix, William. Who knows? You might find yourself in the World Cup. To bottom Duda saying Inter were called Pazza Inter before Conte went there. Now no one calls them Pazza. Dr. Conte will free the team of Spursy, and Conte we trust. Dave, is Conte going to relieve us of the Spursy mentality and the Spursy word?
Yeah, look, it just starts with him doing the right thing, him and Paratici working together, doing the right thing. I mean, you got to start somewhere, right? And yeah, look, I think he will, but you got to start with Alex. You just got to make Alex believe. I mean, if you can make Alex believe, then you can get anybody to believe. What I'm more interested in, though, is I don't know about you, the bottom dude, but when did Alex come down to reality? I mean, I'm still shocked about that. He mentioned the term reality. I thought we were still sitting on the clouds. Honestly, absolute. He should have sent down a flare and some warning signals. But the bottom dude, look, Conte will get rid of the term Spurs. Yeah, I'm convinced of it. Along with his Don Paratici. I know it winds somebody up, but Don Paratici. For me, I think the two of them have been tasked with this job, and I can see it happening. Look, I know Conte's on an 18-month contract, but it's up to us. But basically, that tells me we've got 18 months to prove to this guy that we can put the things in place in order for this guy to stay here, sign a new contract, and take us even further and see out the rebuild. But big up the bottom, dude. I really do appreciate the support. And everybody, make sure you keep smashing that like button, keep smashing that subscribe button. And remember, guys, super chat, skip the queue. We get straight to it. But keep getting your comments in. I'm loving them. Absolutely loving them. And we'll keep bringing them up on screen.
Speaking of comments, I just wanted to read these comments, and then Alex, I'll just get to.
I want to answer that super chat as well. To be honest with you, I want to answer.
Yeah. Feel free, my man. Feel free.
I've mentioned this on my channel anyway. For me, I think it's important for us to understand that Conte's there, and whether he goes or not, the failure when Conte leaves is if we don't learn the foundations from Conte. Yes. How to run our club better, and that's going to be a failure if we don't do that. That's a major thing, because like I said before, and I've said this already on my channel, I've said he's coming to Tottenham and he's thinking this is an absolute joke running this club. He's looked at Daniel Levy and he said this is not the way to do it. Forget Paratici, but Conte, as far as I'm concerned, because the guy is elite, 100% elite as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? But we got to stop this whole thing about worrying about whether he's going to go or not, because he will leave. The mistake will be not getting those foundations in place for us to move on forward. And that will be then the responsibility of Paratici, if he's still around, to carry that foundations on. Not what we did before when Pochettino left and we've gone from defensive football to attacking football to no football with Nuno to this football. We need to keep the consistency of the philosophy of Tottenham at the end of the day, and the foundations that Conte's taught us. We need to learn those and keep those continuing, and that's the responsibility of Daniel Levy and Paratici if he's still around, and that's it. And that's what I want to answer that question.
Honestly, I actually, the bottom Duda, he's looking for a different opinion. He's so used to ours all the time. So, Alex, I actually appreciate you, answering his as well. Cody Mack thought just put a good question. Question for Alex. Assuming you think we will not become the club we want to with Kane and Conte, how long do you see the process taking, that long process you were talking about with Paratici? If you were looking past this nucleus, 3 years, 5 years, Alex, you would give a number.
I think it's going to be 5 years. I think it's going to be 5 years. I think you're going to have to make a lot of changes to get the team going at the end of the day, because you've got Liverpool, Manchester City. They've already got a philosophy there. They've got a winning mentality already in place that has been there for a few years now. You see what I'm saying? Then you've got Chelsea. I mean, yes, there are things going on at Chelsea at the moment, but previously
maybe no better time actually with the Champions League, considering their fallout actually to a degree, but we'll see how that situation
exactly
develops.
So is that the thing? And then you got Manchester United, whether they're going to do anything as well. And we forget Leicester City, West Ham. Those two teams have still got a way of knowing their own as a club and how they work as a club, and it's working for them at the end of the day, getting the right sort of players in to fit their system at the end of the day. You see what I'm saying? And we don't know how long this Conte football is going to be for. You know what I mean? Because if he leaves, are we going to continue like that with three at the back? We don't know. Because at the beginning of the season with Nuno, we were nowhere. absolutely
I just
nowhere.
got a taste, but with Conte, Alex, comes, a bit of taste of, just you just gotta go. You just gotta go with the times. You just gotta go with the flow. You gotta go with the wave, with Antonio Conte, my man.
No, I'm going with the flow.
Yeah, Dave.
Listen, I'm going with the flow.
I
but
agree,
I'll let
Alex,
you finish. I'll let you go on in a minute, David. But what I'm saying is, I'm going with the flow, but I'm being objective and looking at it from afar as well. And that's it. And I'm going to stick to what I say. And at the end of the day, I don't really care whether people are going to have a go at me or not. I don't really care. You know what I mean? But that's the way I'm looking at it, and that's it. And simple as that. So
I just want to say, you're definitely looking at it from afar because Leicester intent. And the point I'm going to make off the back of this is, I know you keep mentioning Leicester, and I know why you mention Leicester, because they won a league and that, right? But my point is, they're sitting in 10th this season, and you're going on about how well they're on. We're being a shambles this season, and we're sitting in 5th, 3 points off top 4. Now, my point being is that every team has their period of doing well, and then they go through a rebuilding phase, and then they come out of it and they go again. Leicester are going through that now. Tottenham have been going through that the last couple of years. And I believe with Conte and Paratici in charge that we're going to come out the other side of that and that we will go forward. But please, bro, I know you keep talking about taking a step back and looking at it from a distance, but how far down the table are you willing to go to pull up teams? I mean, actually, I know you're willing to go to 13 because you keep mentioning Brighton all the time. I'm fed up of hearing Brighton and Leicester and teams like that. West Ham, they're on 48 points. We're on 51, and we've got a game in hand on them. Please stop talking about these teams.
Sorry, Bob, but the truth is hurting you, Bob, so much. Sorry, Bob, it's hurting you so much, David. Sorry, Jack. Sorry, Jack. He loves his talk. He loves talking. He loves talking to himself, doesn't he? Honestly,
you did say the truth would hurt today, Alex. You did say the truth would hurt.
2 minutes of fame, Bob, is over, by the way, Bob, because Mr. Box Office is going to talk to you even further, Bob. I'll let Jack have his moment though, because he needs to get out the questions and be respectful to the host as well. So that's it. But like I said. Alex. Mr. Box Office is always going to banter you all day long, and we'll keep on talking about West Ham, by the way, bro, because they work one bit better than us. By the way, they're playing better than us as well. They might have beat us, but look what they're doing two days ago.
Them smack them aside. We smacked them aside.
2 days ago, they got to the Europa League next round, the Europa League, the later stages. So they had extra time as well. So a little bit tired as well, to be honest with you. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Have any of them teams ever got to a Champions League final?
Oh, here we go. Oh, gosh. Let's move on. We're going to move on, Jack, anyway. Oh, gosh,
it's a good question, Dave. And to be fair, to Alex, though, as well, he did say, the truth maybe at some stage would hurt. Dave does not seem to be hurting, but, he is trying his best, to make it hurt with the truth. And George saying, we have always performed mostly well in the Champions League. We performed better than expected. How many experts said we can't get out of the group and then made the final? Fair point, George. And, the history shows that we've been better.
Big man, Georgie. Thank you.
Tottenham Tantrum Gold saying, Alex, Spurs have always aimed high. I want Champions League football always. I look back at the Super Spurs from 1950 to 2008. We won trophies in every decade. We need the Godfather, Bill Nick. We will rise again. This is, to be fair, in order to get exactly the Mickey Hazard mentality. I know I kind of said maybe the Mickey Hazard mentality, if you win the Europa League, that, would achieve right away what he's been looking for, get that trophy, start the winning mentality, but maybe just wanting the best, wanting to play amongst the best, wanting to try to beat the best is actually more of a winning mentality that you can just get right away. And maybe actually going for Champions League is maybe more of an indication or more of a example of that, David.
Look, I just looked at them at the poll in the chat. Everyone wants Champions League. I mean, the debate on Europa League, Champions League is kind of over. Dermot just coming in again with the second. Do you know the way you have the punch and you have the nail? Dermot's already hammered it down once. He's gone for the second time. He's just making sure people get the point. And well, not people. Alex gets the point. We all want Champions League. Now, Alex did have a famous catchphrase. I didn't think I'd be using it this earlier in the conversation, but I am. The truth hurts. The truth hurts. And now he's violining his own music. He's some man. Mr. Box Office, more like Mr. Arsenal Ticket Office. Absolutely love it. Look, Dermot, Champions League all day long. I mean, this is why I'm here, just to put Alex just back on the straight and narrow every once in a while.
No, it isn't, David. No, it isn't, David. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Honestly, I've never heard such absolute waffle. Sorry, Jack. Sometimes he just goes on. He goes on so much. He loves talking to himself sometimes. You know what I mean? Honestly, he's like, it says a little poll. It says, "Oh, everybody's right now. Oh, I'm right now. I'm right." No, you're not right, bro. Honestly,
okay, just a couple of things. Just a couple of things to correct you on. I've been right on Harry Winks.
Oh, here we go.
Right on so many players. Dele Alli. You were adamant this season we wouldn't get top 4. I mean, we're in the race now.
We're not getting top 4, bro.
I guess I'm right on that as well. So, I mean,
just because Man United have messed up doesn't mean we're going to get top 4.
Enough of this. Back to Jack. Respect the host. Your words, Alex.
Well, actually, to be fair to both of you, I thought we could kind of move on and, wind down with, maybe some more current Spurs topics. So, I what do you think, lads? I mean, any maybe final words?
I can do that, but Jack, you've got to let David try and get some words in edgeways. You know what I mean? Because David doesn't like doing that, doesn't he?
I've been a man of very few words tonight, but they've been.
Oh, here we go.
You're rattled, lad.
Alex, you did get the truths out though, which I feel like you got. Did you feel like you got the truths out? Maybe any final more, or do you feel like
I'm talking the truth. By the way, just so people are clear at the end of the day, you keeping on saying that I'm an Arsenal fan. If that makes you feel better, mate, keep on saying it, because at the end of the day, you look embarrassing yourself talking about it. Insulting people isn't going to work anyway, because you're the ones that are embarrassing yourselves. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry I had to say that. You know what I mean? If you want to keep on saying I'm tired, keep on saying I'm an Arsenal fan, keep on saying that, because you're embarrassing. You're an absolute embarrassment to yourselves, as far as I'm concerned.
So that's it. Their opinion, just like you're entitled to yours.
No. That's not an opinion. That's insulting. That's insulting people.
That's not insulting.
No, it's insulting people now. No. Because if anybody had a go at you, like saying things like that, you didn't like it as well. So all I'm saying is, really. I'm not saying they're entitled to say what they want to say, but they're looking embarrassing themselves, as far as I'm concerned. Because, like I said, I've made the point of I've been at a stadium how many times, and if you're paying your money to go to a stadium, you're not going there because you're an Arsenal fan. I can tell you that for a fact. Especially when you've been Tottenham fan for very, very many years as well. So, and going through the pain and everything else as well. So, I don't know what I don't know what people are talking about in the comments anyway. So, if you want to go on like that, that's your prerogative. But at the end of the day, you look embarrassing saying it. So, it's simple as that. And that's what I'm going to say, and that's it. Because I'm a Tottenham fan, and that's it. And I'm not going to. I don't need to prove anything to anybody anyway. So let's move on. You know what I mean? And that's it. And that's Mr. Brooks off talking the truth. And that's it. And that's it. And I'm stating the truth right now. So if you can't handle it, you can't handle it. And playing the violin when I play the violin at you, bro, is like you trying to banter me. Well, you can't banter me any day of the week, bro.
You're right,
George saying hello to everyone on the Irish Hotspur and in the chat. George, a new poll has just been released, which is the new topic that we are going to be discussing, my man. And I feel like you're definitely going to enjoy it. And I feel like, George, you're probably going to have one of the better opinions on it as well, my man. And also good to have you in here, George. And really do appreciate the support as always, my man. Bottom Duda says, question for Mr. Box Office.
No, why?
What should we change in the next 3 months that will convince you we can go deep in the Champions League? Alex, I need 3 things for Bottom Duda here that can get us deep into the Champions League. What would need to happen, my man?
Better wing backs.
Okay.
Better wing backs. A left-sided centre defender. Yeah. And a better centre midfielder as well that can score goals.
I completely agree, actually. To Bottom Dude, I could not have answered that more efficiently and better myself. Just need to actually have a big spending budget and on whatever Conte needs in order he feels like to have a Champions League squad, because you need a squad that's good enough for the Champions League, but you also need a squad that's good enough for the Premier League. And that just means basically 2 good players in every position, not, one that can sort of do it. 2 good players in every position. That's what you'll need. So I think actually Alex answered that quite well to Bottom Dude. I really do appreciate support as always. And also like the question for Mr. Box Office as well to Bottom. Absolutely.
No more questions for Mr. Box Office. We're sick of hearing them now.
Moving on to Stephen Bergwijn, Dave. And, he's been part of the title today. I feel like, Dave, he's already maybe showing, a bit of class, with the Dutch national team, scoring 3 goals in 2 games. But the big question that is in the poll right now, Dave, and I figured I'd ask you first on this.
Yeah, please.
Has Bergwijn been given a proper chance? And he did have that Snapchat quote saying, no matter how precious you are, if you are not in a place that values you, you are nothing, he says. Do you feel like Bergwijn's been given a proper chance at Spurs, Dave?
Oh, Jack, pass me the violin, honestly. Look, Alex is going to sit here for 3 hours and tell you that Bergwijn hasn't been given a chance. He's being played out of position. The fact of the matter is, when Bergwijn signed for Tottenham, he knew there was one position open up front, and that was on the right wing. He was never, ever going to come in and displace Sonny. He was never, ever going to come in and displace Kane. But he could come in and displace Lucas Moura. So he came in. He was given, 15, 20 games on the right wing. Didn't produce 1 goal or assist from that position. And at the end of the day, if he's not happy being back up to Sonny or Kane, either get better and be better than them, or if you're going to cry about it, get out my club. At the end of the day, you were given your chance at right wing. You didn't take it, maybe in out of position, but surely he wasn't stupid enough to know that he was going to come in and displace Son. Yes, he's playing well on international duty, but is he going to score more goals than Harry Kane or Sonny or assist more over a season? No. And the fact of the matter is, we bought in Kulusevski. We've had Lucas Moura there. We've had Bergwijn there. You've even had Gareth Bale there. We brought in Kulusevski and he's linking up with Kane and Son like there's no tomorrow, and he's been here 3 months. Now, if Kulusevski can do that after 3 months, what's Bergwijn's problem after a year and a half? Now, I get it. He's scoring on international duty. He's playing well for Holland. He feels valued or whatever else it may be. But at the end of the day, Tottenham is a different ballgame altogether. You've got Son and Kane. And if he's not prepared to get better, well, then stop moaning about it and look to get out of the club, in my opinion. I get it, he's scoring goals, and I get some people may think that's harsh, but he's not better than Kane, he's not better than Son, he's not better than Kulusevski in a Tottenham team. So, end of debate. He's got to go.
Alex, has Bergwijn been given a proper chance in your eyes?
Oh my gosh! Honestly, I had to listen to that. I had to listen to this. That guy waffling on. Bloody
Alex, just quickly, Jack. Can we not lead with them questions? Because I mean, Harry Winks has had 6 years, and Alex still thinks that's probably.
Oh gosh, Jack, why is he doing this to you, bro? Honestly, I don't believe what he's going on like that, man. Honestly, I had to sit through that waffle. Honestly. The guy hasn't had a chance. He hasn't had a chance. And just need to remind people, because Kulusevski's had a good start at the moment, yeah? Bergwijn had a very good start as well. Had a very good start as well, by the way. And then he fell off. He hasn't had a chance. You know, he has. The season that he last season, he had someone that came in when he should never have came in the first place, Gareth Bell. Who was waffling and stuff and whining and keep on saying that he doesn't, he's injured or whether he's injured or whatever he was doing. So he's taken his place as well. So he didn't know what he was doing then.
He had more
and like I said, this season he hasn't been that bad. Oh, David, you've given yourself 2 minutes already to talk. Anyway, you waffled on there. So let me talk now. You know what I mean? Mr. Wopsoff needs to talk some sense into you, like I said. Anyway, so. You know, like I said before, Bergwijn played well against West Ham in the Carabao Cup, got benched afterwards. He played a pivotal role in the game against Leicester City, got that last-minute winner, two last-minute goals, got benched afterwards. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, and then when he's in Mourinho's team, he kept on playing on the right wing, up front, different positions, so he didn't know where he was playing as well. So for me at the moment, he hasn't been given a chance. He has not been given a chance at all. When Kane was injured, he never got played in his position. And Conte said that if Kane's injured, he's looked as a main striker up front. He's not played in that position. So I'm sorry, I don't agree at all. Yes, maybe you can move him on because you might have to look at other options, maybe, because if you're not going to play him, you've got to move him on. But it's proved since international duty and also in certain games, he's actually played very well.
Consistent chance. Yeah, he hasn't been given.
He's been playing very well and he's been effective as well. More than Moira, to be honest with you. Absolutely more than Moira. Moira's the one that should be dropped. Moira should be the one that should be dropped. And that's it. Look at his record. It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. He works hard for the team, but he's not effective enough. And that's it. I'm sorry, but I'm going to defend Bergwijn on this. We let go of Dele Alli because of that as well.
And we were right.
We were
okay, whatever you want to say about Dele Alli, yes,
no,
maybe
we
you're
were
right.
I was proven
but you know, because you're clutching at straws again, David. Because you like talking about things.
Whether
you like talking to yourself, don't you? You like talking to yourself, don't you? You know what I mean? So, but like I said before, Bergwijn needs a chance, and I think he needs a chance because when Kane gets injured, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And that's it. That's all I need to say. Mic drop.
Well, maybe Bergwijn, if he's good enough, Alex, if Bergwijn's good enough, can fill in, for Harry Kane, like maybe Conte said. But Tottenham Tantrum Gold saying, I don't want top 4. I want top 3. Do you agree, Alex?
Not top 3. Dermot, you're a gentleman. You're an absolute gentleman, Dermot. But I'm sorry, mate. We're not getting top 3 because you're not going to get 70 points or more. Chelsea get 70 points or more. So we're not going to get top 3. Definitely not, unfortunately.
Yeah, Dave?
I respectfully disagree, unfortunately.
So just put things into context. So Steven Bergwijn has played 53 plus 4 is 57 plus 15 is 67, 68, 72 games. And he scored 7 goals and that's it across all of his appearances for Tottenham. Kulusevski has played 9 games, scored 2 goals and 2 assists. Now, I know Alex is talking about
2 goals and 4 assists or something. 2 goals and 4 assists. So I know Alex is talking here about his international form. But tell me where he's going to fit in at Tottenham. He's had
play up front. He can play up front. That's what Conte said. He said his words says he's plays in Kane's position. That's his words. And I don't think you should compare him to Kulusevski at the end of the day when he's played more games. The fact is, you're basing it on him playing for Antonio Conte. Forget the other managers, because the other managers at the end of the day, Jose Mourinho didn't even want him. He's admitted that he didn't want him. Okay. And he played defensive football. Okay. Nuno is an absolute disaster.
Do you believe Conte wants him?
Well, whether he wants him or not, he kept him in January.
Well, he doesn't want him.
He kept him in January when Ajax wanted when Ajax were looking for him. Ajax wanted him in January. They didn't want. He didn't sell him. So he still wants him. He said in the press conference he still wants him.
Right. Let's not be naive to the situation. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
So, no. Honestly, right. He's keeping him until the end of the season, just in case we got injuries. Now, everyone can see through him keeping him past January. It's purely to keep him just in case we get injuries. But if Conte really wanted this guy and wanted him to play up front like Alex says, why has he received so few minutes, even from the bench? So few minutes.
Well, that's Conte's fault. That is Conte's fault.
You can pick out 3 games where he's had a bit of an impact. But the season is a 38-game season plus all the cup games. So I'm sorry, 3 games is not enough.
I think you've been not listening, bro. You haven't listened. I told you. You did listen. You did listen because I mentioned 2 games already, right? Because you want to go to your narrative. That's it. I mentioned the West Ham game, the Carabao Cup game. After the Carabao Cup game, when he played very well, was the man of the match. He got benched. Why? Right? No. He got benched.
Yeah, why?
Right? When he played better than Moira, I can tell you.
I'm asking why he got benched.
I don't know, but he should have not got benched. I've got to tell you that for a fact. And then after Leicester City, right, when he played very well, sorry for pointing, because that's rude. I still say that he should have played after that because he was effective in that game.
Why didn't he?
Well, that's again Conte. You got to ask Conte that. I don't know.
Okay, because Conte doesn't trust him enough to play. There's the answer to your question.
That's rubbish.
If Conte,
you can't complain when Kane gets injured. Then
I think there's a next question that we're going to move on to. There's a next question, Dave. There's another question we're going to move on to that I think will, kind of settle this whole Bergwijn situation. To be honest, William Kelly saying, "Oh no, not forced up." Again, it's just what it is. William, it's going to have to be discussed. He scored another goal, William. We thought we had it over, but he scored another goal. It just makes that Snapchat even more kind of, peculiar, my man. But big up, William Kelly. Good to have you in here. Just wanted to say hello to Sean as well. Good to see you,
Shawnee.
He was going to be on the panel tonight. He's still recovering from what it seemed like the plague, the guy, but he's, coming back stronger. And Sean, looking forward to have you back on. I actually wish he would have came on for the beginning of the debate, because I think you would have offered maybe some good points, at least on the financial aspect of maybe Europa League versus Champions League. But Sean, good to have you in here at least, my man. Good to see you, my man.
Shawnee.
But the next part of this debate, kind of part, Dave, is Bergwijn. He's calling himself precious. Do you feel like he's too good maybe to be a squad player? Because he's not going to play above Harry Kane as a striker. He's going to be maybe that backup, auxiliary sort of striker. But then he's not going to replace Sonny in the left wing, which is, I guess, Bergwijn's best position is the left wing maybe anyways. So the two best positions for Bergwijn are being filled by, as we know, maybe better players. That means he's going to have to be used to a life of being maybe a squad player for the time being. Is Bergwijn maybe showing that he doesn't want to be a squad player and he thinks he's too good to be a squad player?
I mean, look, are we really asking this question off the back of 3 international goals for Holland? Let's be real here. This is a guy we pulled from PSV and it hasn't worked out. He's come to Tottenham, which is a superior club than PSV. He's been given a nice stint on the right-hand side. As long as you would like to settle into a club, it's a dream given that amount of games once you step into a club to be given that long. It's an absolute dream. And he done fuck all with it. He is not too good to be a backup. He's not good enough to be at Tottenham. If he was, he would A, be in the starting lineup right now. B, we wouldn't have had to have signed Kulusevski. We wouldn't even be looking in that position. So, I mean, the guys, look, I don't understand why we're... Is he too good because he scored 3 goals for Holland? Let's be real here. I don't care what players go and do on international duty. Players, when they go to their countries, most of them go out there and do it with pride. They love it. They probably love playing for the country, some of them more than what they love playing for the clubs. But at the end of the day, he is not good enough for Tottenham Hotspur, and it's been proven. It's not. If he was good enough to be here, he wouldn't be sitting here throwing his toys out the pram. He'd be better, or else when he was in the team, he'd say, okay, what do I need to do better to be able to keep my position in the team? Or what do I need to do better to regain my position in the team? And he hasn't done it.
Maybe the case of Harry Kane and Son are just, you can't be that good. And maybe
Jack,
that's...
When he came here, he was given that. He knew he was coming over to play on the right-hand side. He knew it. You can't tell me this guy come over here thinking he was going to get in on the left ahead of Son or up front ahead of Kane. No way. He come over here knowing he was going to be on the right-hand side. He took that opportunity because it's Tottenham Hotspur. It was a big club. He had no problem coming over here and accepting that right-hand side position to be able to come to a big club like Tottenham. Now, because it hasn't worked out, we're saying, he should be playing on the left, or he should be, like Alex, should be playing up front. And what, drop the most lethal duo in Premier League history? I don't think so.
Alex, is Bergwijn too good to be a squad player, maybe in your eyes? Maybe he's just in the situation where we rely on Harry Kane and Sonny so much that he just can't ever replace those two. But do you feel like that means he's too good to be a squad player and just kind of watch them play ahead of him?
No, I don't think it's too good. I think it's just unfortunately, he hasn't been given a chance. I think that's the thing. I think you can look at it saying probably he shouldn't be on the bench and he needs to be playing football. So maybe looking at it from the question that you just asked, yes, he's too good to be on the sub bench. He needs time on the pitch, and that's it. But for me,
like he can't be like a Lucas Moura who just at the end of the day is a squad player.
Yeah, it's just a squad player. Yes, but this is Conte's words. He said that he replaces Harry Kane. That was his words. Not anybody else's words, not my words. What Conte said. He said Bergwijn plays in Kane's position. When Kane's injured, Bergwijn's the person to replace him.
Is he good enough to do that next season in your eyes? Is he good enough to do that? Is he good enough to play in Kane's position next season if something were to happen to Kane?
We have to see whether he stays, don't we? We have to see what happens there, don't we? Because at the moment, it doesn't look very good for him at the moment. But I don't agree with it. I think Conte's been very, very unfair on him, to be honest with you. Because like I said, I mentioned the games that he's played really well in, and he's shown a lot more than other members of the squad. So, and he's been effective as well. Effective in games when we've done really bad, when we needed him, really. So, for me, I think, he's a very, we should be using him more as far as I'm concerned.
Well, he's not happy on the bench, though, Alex.
Well, like I said before, David, like you didn't listen to me before, like you weren't listening before. I said to you that he should be more. There should be more opportunities for him in the starting lineup, as far as I'm concerned, because you can't keep on playing Kane, Son, and Kulusevski every single game.
At the end of the day, it's up to Bergwijn to get the trust from the manager. If you don't get the
trust,
he's
got the trust, Bob. I told you the games that he did well in those games, and he said he's shown his ability then. So I don't know what you're about saying that he hasn't done genuine ability. I told you West Ham in the Carabao Cup. I told you Leicester City.
Alex, please stop speaking over me. If he had the trust of the manager, he would be in that starting lineup. He would have been in there ahead of Lucas Moura already. He would be in there ahead of Kulusevski. He doesn't have the trust of the manager. That's why he's making cameo appearances off the bench. Now, when a manager comes to a club, the day and age we're in, it's up to the players to get that trust of the manager. If they don't get the trust of the manager, they don't play, purely because the manager knows that their job is hinging on the players' performance week in, week out, and he has to trust them players to perform. He doesn't trust Bergwijn. That's why he doesn't get the minutes. We can all sit here and say we have to create minutes for him. But why has football changed? Why is it not up to the footballer to demand the minutes, to warrant the minutes? You can play the violin all you want, but this is facts, Alex.
Honestly, I honestly can't believe what I'm hearing. You're saying that I need to stop interrupting you and stop speaking over you. Mr. Box Office talks truth, Bob. That's all I need to say, Bob. I don't know what you're talking about, Bob. What are you chatting about? The fact is, you don't want to hear it. Bergwijn didn't get a chance. Simple as that. This
played 15 games on the right wing under Jose Mourinho.
Conte's words said that he is in Kane's position. Right, he's Kane's position. So no wonder he's feeling sorry for himself at the moment, because he's done well in decent games.
Pochettino also said Harry Winks would be the next.
We would have not won the games if we weren't for him as well. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Pochettino also said Harry Winks would be the next Xavi. Did that happen?
Pardon?
Pochettino also said Harry Winks would be the next Xavi. Did that happen?
Oh, we're going back to Harry Winks.
No, because you have to understand.
Let's keep it on subject, bro. Let's keep it on subject, because we want to keep another opinion of your narrative again, bro.
Alex, I am keeping on subject. You said you're going off Antonio Conte's words. But what I'm trying to explain to you is, when a manager speaks to the press, he doesn't always necessarily say what a fan feels, unless he has a whole squad he can trust that he can put out the truth. When managers go to the press, they say these things. Of course, he's going to sit there and say, yeah, Bergwijn, he can play up front. I like Bergwijn. Because he needs to keep him interested between now and the end of the season, because he needs him if we have injuries. You already said the squad is thin. That's why he does it. If you can't understand that, I'm sorry. But then you're also saying we have to create minutes for Bergwijn. I'm sorry. How many times has some of these players played in the likes of Europa Conference League and everything else like that, and they haven't performed? If they're not performing there, why would you just throw them into a Premier League team?
Well, I've just mentioned two games on the 2 games.
I'm not finished.
Well, go on then, because you've been going on for about 2 minutes, Bob.
I'm not finished. And to say he hasn't been given a chance.
Waffling.
To say he hasn't been given a chance. He was brought in, like I already said, he knew he was coming over to play on the right-hand side. He had a run of 15, 20 games and didn't take it. He's been given a chance.
Bob, I've mentioned the 2 games already. You're not even listening to it, bro.
2 games.
I've already mentioned those 2 games. And he got benched after it. So what are you talking about, bro?
What are you talking about? 2 games out of 70.
No, but bruv, how many games has Conte been in charge, bruv? How many games has he been in charge, bruv?
Position they're in.
But how many games has he been in charge, though, bruv? So I don't know what you're talking about again.
Let me speak.
You just again another narrative on you, bruv. I'm sorry. Absolute rubbish.
You know why we're in the position we're in? It's because players that are doing stuff 5 games out of 70. That's why we're in the position we're in. If we want to be better and we want to be in the Champions League, we want to be competing, you need players that are doing stuff 60 games out of the 70, not 5 out of 70. If 5 out of 70 is good enough for you, no wonder why you're talking about West Ham.
Okay, here we go. Sorry.
We want to go where we want to go.
10 minutes now, Bob. I just need to wake you up, Bob. We're not going to get world-class players into this club, bruv. Yeah? World-class players are not coming to Tottenham, bruv. So that's what you're chatting about again.
Okay, but Kulusevski is coming. He's had an effect in 6 goals out of 9 games.
6 games, Bob, doesn't make a bloody season, doesn't it, Bob?
But the problem is that maybe Alex is that Bergwijn sees himself as world class.
This
You're
guy,
missing the point.
my gosh.
9 games compared to 70-odd games. And Kulusevski has had more of effect in the team.
How many games with Conte, bro? and he still scored those goals in those major games as well. I've just mentioned that. You don't recognise that at all, bro.
I do recognise that. But I'm saying, I do recognise it, but I'm saying 2 games out of 70 you're picking out. 2. I can probably pick out 5. 5 out of 70. Is that good enough for Tottenham Hotspur? It's nowhere near good enough for Tottenham Hotspur.
How many games of those were Conte? And how many games has he played?
That down at Burnley.
But how many games has he played? It's been always Kane up front.
He's played 70-odd games.
He played 1,200 minutes. He played 1,200 minutes last season in the Premier League, Alex.
Yeah, but that was
under
Mourinho
Conte, you could say, Alex, maybe to help your point here, Alex, I think under Jose, he was actually given enough of a chance because he played actually plenty of minutes under Jose, not only in the Premier League, but in cup competitions. But under Antonio Conte, he's played like basically nothing when you really think about it. So maybe Conte's, Jose gave him maybe a proper chance, you could say, but actually Conte's been the one that hasn't given him a chance.
But look at the football that he was playing. I don't know how he played at PSV, but look at the football that we're playing under Jose. And look at the football that we're playing now.
But that wasn't an excuse for Kane.
But I'm sorry, but that's the point. I'm saying this at the moment because the thing is, though, we put in Kulusevski and Bentancur. Look at the way that they play at Juventus. Look at the way that they are now. They're more settled because they know the sort of system that Conte wants to play at the end of the day. When you're looking at now Bergwijn, he's played under Jose Mourinho, Mason, and Nuno. That's the same argument we're having with the whole thing with Ndombele and Lo Celso. Since they've come to Tottenham, they played under Pochettino, Mourinho, Mason, and Nuno, and now Conte, and now they have.
Supposed to create a river for them.
But that's the point. Look at the strategy of how we've been playing, the philosophy with those players, and they came in for Lo Celso and Ndombele came in to Tottenham because of Pochettino, who plays free-flowing attacking football. Then you've got Jose Mourinho, who plays, defensive football. Then you've got Mason, who plays different football. Nuno, who plays different football. So a player doesn't know where he's coming from, doesn't he?
Well done, Alex.
I don't know what you're saying. I'm sorry, but it's absolute nonsense what you're talking about. Again, because the thing is, though, if you have a specific philosophy in place, a player knows what they're doing and understands the way that they play, you see the best out of that player. Bergwijn hasn't had a chance to do that at all. Right. As far as I'm concerned,
I agree.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're a great player or not, a decent player or not at all. If you don't know the strategy or the philosophy of the team, that's the problem. And that's my issue at the moment with Paratici at the moment. I don't know what he's going to do after Conte is going to be out the building.
Right.
That's
I hear you, Alex. Right. I hear you. But I don't take this debate of, like, obviously, look, if you want to be a Man City and a Liverpool and you have this settled like you do with Klopp and Guardiola, yes, that will ultimately bring you trophies, and that's where you'll get when you get the best players in. But to make excuses of strategy and different managers for these players, when it was an excuse for them to come from their local side into their county side, into the academies, into senior level, and to get into Tottenham Hotspur, having different managers, different styles, and different philosophies wasn't an excuse for them to make the senior game. Why are we making it an excuse for them now? The only difference is they're being paid astronomical amounts of money, and they think they can dictate what they want, and they can use these excuses. I'm not playing an attacking team. But I bet you weren't playing an attacking system when you came through every other team to make the professional game. The difference, Alex, is hunger. They had hunger to make the professional ranks. That's why they didn't use managers' tactics or styles of philosophies as an excuse to make the professional ranks. But when they get the professional ranks, they get astronomical monies and they lose that hunger, and then they start looking for excuses elsewhere because they're so used to being told by people around them, their friends, family, fans, everything else, you're God, you're God, you're God. And they never, ever want to look themselves in the mirror, ever. I'm not taking it as an excuse for some of these players when it wasn't an excuse for them to make the professional ranks, and they made sure they fitted into systems to be able to be the star and get into where they are now. So I'm not.
They just don't continue in that vein is maybe the problem. Once they make it, they just can't find the motivation to continue that sort of motivation. William Kelly saying, Alex, he said the same, and I think he means by Conte said the same about Winks, but we haven't seen him since. That's the whole idea of what David's saying, how Conte, he butters up, certain people, in the squad, in order to get, the best out of them for the rest of the season. He's not just going to slam Winks. He's not just going to slam, Bergwijn, because then that means they'll just give him nothing. They'll give him draws for the rest of the season. Maybe he's just buttering them up a bit in order to get the best out of them. And William Kelly seems to think so as well. Big up, William Kelly.
Yeah, spot on with him, Kelly. Absolutely spot on. You yourself up.
Dan saying he's loving the polls tonight. I kind of just thought of it just now since, it is kind of good debate. To be honest, with the Europa League versus Champions League resoundingly went in the favor of the Champions League. The Bergwijn not given a proper chance. A lot of people still feel like he's not given a proper chance. And then so far, in terms of is Bergwijn too good to be a squad player? Most people seem to believe he isn't too good to be a squad player, which is, I think, interesting. So we're finding ourselves in some sort of balance there. Oliver Freeman, new member. Maybe I think he's even upgraded the membership by the looks of it, if I'm not mistaken.
No, big up
Oliver.
Look, where I'm at with Bergwijn, I'm going to leave it on this because we do have other kind of talking points we want to get to, but I'm going to leave it on this where I'm at with Bergwijn. If he thinks he's too good to be here and he doesn't want to stay and fight for his place, well, then he can go. At the end of the day, for me, he's been given a chance of 15, 20 games to settle into the team under Jose Mourinho. He hasn't done it, and we've had to fork out money in that position yet again. He lost out to Gareth Bale, he lost out to Lucas Moura, and he's lost out to Kulusevski. Under every manager, he's lost out to other people in his position. And if he has a chip on his shoulder and he thinks he's too good to be here, then he can go. I want players that want to stay here and fight for their place and believe that they can oust some of these other players we have in the positions. That's what I want on my football team.
Good to get it out there, Dave. AE saying 99% of the time I agree with David and 99% of the time I disagree with Alex. But this time I happen to agree with Alex on the matter of Stevie B. Just good to get it out there. I figured Bob Spurs as well is in the house. Good to have you, Bob Spurs, always, brother. He says, we need to build a squad, not just a good first 11. There are many players I'd move on before Bergwijn. As a squad player, he's a good option. It comes down to if he's happy to be part of a squad. I think Bob Spurs just put the logic through that. The big issue is, is Bergwijn, he's definitely, I would say, a good enough squad player. You could definitely make that case. Maybe the problem is he just maybe doesn't see himself as a squad player at this moment in time, and he wants to be playing consistent football, which, to be fair to him, I think that's actually plenty okay. Maybe he could have just voiced it a bit better, but this is, I guess, his way of just making it clear that he wants more playing time. He's certainly not getting at Spurs, but if that's what he just wants at the end of the day, I think that's fair to him. And it actually shows, maybe to what David was talking about. Maybe he does actually have that drive all of a sudden that he's looking for.
I just want to say, I agree with Bob. Like, I've been a big advocate of having a squad. Like, I want a squad. But at the end of the day, everyone has to be happy in the squad. It's clear that Bergwijn is not happy. And I'm not saying Bergwijn's a rubbish footballer. But we can't keep sitting in a pattern where players come in, he hasn't done what's necessary, and keep trying to persist with it. Look where it got us with Dele Alli. Look where it got us with Harry Winks and other players. You can't keep persisting with it. Since Dele Alli and Ndombele and Lo Celso have gone, especially Lo Celso and Ndombele, who were brought in to try and improve the situation, their numbers weren't good enough. It didn't work out. And you got to go. We can't keep persisting with players. And at the end of the day, if Conte trusted them, Bergwijn would have had more game time by now. And he hasn't. It's clear that the manager doesn't trust him. Yeah. And in order for a player to be a good squad player, the manager has to trust him and put him out in games. And he's had opportunities to play Bergwijn, and he hasn't.
Bob Spurs well says, worst thing to happen to Bergwijn is Decky coming in, settling in straight away. However, remember the World Cup is coming up in November and December, so he has no option but to up his game. Really good point, actually. And Bergwijn is...
Can I just repeat that point? Can I just? I want to move on from this because I know you got other questions that you need to move on from, and I'm going to let David just get his last word because he's just going to be the last word anyway. I don't agree with what you just said anyway. The point is that the fact is with Kulusevski, he's come into a team that works to the way that he plays already. He's used to the way that Conte plays in the already. Like I said before, Bergwijn hasn't had that opportunity where he's played in different managers' systems. So he had to get used to another manager, getting used to his system, like I said. And he's done actually not too badly. He's done better than some of the players that are already there anyway. So for me, I think Bergwijn needs a chance. And like I said before, I said the whole thing about Kane being up front. And Bergwijn could be replacing him as well. Top players don't want to be sitting on the bench. This is the point what I made about, the striker. Everybody moans about us not getting a second striker. Top strikers don't want to be sitting on the bench. Yes, you can say that he can play alongside Kane, but what's going to happen to Son? What's going to happen to Kulusevski? You see what I'm saying? So this is the point I make. Top players don't want to be sitting on the bench. They want to be playing. And that's why Bergwijn's moaning at the moment, because he wants to be playing at the end of the day. And he feels that he should be getting the opportunity. And I do think he should be getting the opportunity from the games that he's been playing as well. So that's all I need to say. And that's my argument. And I'll leave it there.
I just want to add, but surely we're missing the point here. I mean, we're sitting here talking about Bergwijn needing time and a run in the team. Surely what we want is a signing coming in and hitting the ground straight away. And that's what Kulusevski has done. So let's not put down Kulusevski here. It's not his fault he's come into the team and bedded in straight away and started producing. And that's what
David, I didn't say that. That wasn't what I said anyway. But I've said you didn't listen to me again.
No, I'm speaking now.
We have to move on. We have to move on.
I'm speaking now, Alex. You had your time.
Oh, whatever.
Again, you had your time. But look, like what I'm saying is like what we want from our signings is coming in and having an impact in the team. That's why we signed them, right? That's what we signed Bergwijn to come in and do. He hasn't done it, but we're still talking about giving him time. But where? Football is a ruthless business. Time is not your friend in football. It's just not. At the end of the day, we're talking about giving this guy time. But Kane, he's not getting in ahead of Son. He's not getting in ahead of Kane. And Kulusevski has already come in and started producing on that side. So where is the time you're going to give this guy?
I mean, I think he's just going to have to come to terms with life as, if he can't make it as the right wing, that's kind of the position that was up for grabs in order to get a lot of playing time. The left wing and the striker, just we all know, just not even the second striker, because the second striker is going to be Sonny at the end of the day as well. So it was the battle for the right wing. It feels like Stevie B sort of lost out on it, and he maybe just isn't happy about it. And I think that connects to what George is just saying here. Stevie B is human. He's always going to speak up for himself. Who wouldn't? And in the case of this, George, if Stevie B, if what he really wants is just game time and he's unsettled by that, I think that David, has to respect that, because then that just means, you have to respect somebody who at least wants to play a lot of football. He's not somebody who is just going to sit there and take the paychecks and, drive around. He is going to want to play more football, which I think, maybe changes the perspective.
But Jack, there's no point in sitting there crying for game time now. He was already given game time. He had all last season to do it. There's no point in crying for game time now when another signing has come in and in the position that you brought into play and is producing. No point in crying for game time when Son and Kane are playing well. You had your game time in alongside Son and Kane last season. You didn't take it. But because there's a World Cup round the corner, now he wants to start crying for game time because it suits him, because he wants to get in the Netherlands squad for the World Cup. Why didn't he have the same motivation last season?
Yeah. Gogama saying Alex is a top guest. Big up, Gogama. Good to have you in here.
He is.
Big up, Gogama. Always good to have her in here. Absolute legend. And Gogama, hopefully you're looking forward to Stats with Jack, which is coming up very soon as well. I know she loves that show as well. Faz Radfar saying, cherish now for having the best manager and director of football. We're going to get on to that question very soon as well. Faz, big up, my man. Big up, my man. And then George, I figured, since this is a guy that supports the channel a lot, get his last little say in, saying, Dave, we are forgetting Stevie B performances when he's come on. What player has made that impact as a sub for Spurs in 10 years? I mean, he's definitely give us, something to yell about and scream about. But I would say you could make the argument, George, and I think nobody could argue with this. Stevie B, at least this last, 2 months or 3 months or so, has been a way better substitute coming off the bench than Lucas Moura has. The big issue is it seems like Stevie B just doesn't want to do that. And maybe he has a bad attitude about taking that sort of role, but he has been more effective about it than maybe Lucas has, you could say, the last few months.
And the thing is, I can pick anyone over a 3-4 game period over the course of a season that's come off the bench and had an impact over the last 10 years. There's loads of players out there that you will find. Come back and ask me the question after the World Cup. Does he still come on and have the same impact and the same hunger? Or will his toys being thrown out the pram? Because I guarantee it'll be the second one.
All right, we are going to move on to the question that I think Alex, is probably not looking forward to, but maybe he also actually has, a few things to say. Alex, he's brought in 3 players in the case of Kulusevski, Romero, and Bentancur that are better than any players we brought in the last 4 to 5 seasons. I don't think there's any disputing that. And he's also gotten rid of the reputation that he can't get rid of players by getting rid of Serge Aurier, Juan Foy, Toby, Ndombele, Joe Hart, Dele Alli, Gio Lo Celso, Musa Sissoko. The list goes on. When will you admit that he is the Don? When will you call him the Don, Alex?
He's not a Don. and that's it. I'm not gonna. I don't know when I'm gonna give him the Don because he's not a Don as far as I'm concerned. I'm not really going to get into that much of a subject on this anyway, because like I said, I don't think it was
What's
impressive
holding you
at all.
back? Why are you afraid of calling him a Don, Alex? Why are you afraid?
No, I'm not afraid at all, because the fact is he's not a Don. You know, I just need to say Paul Mitchell. I just need to say Paul Mitchell, and that's it. Paul Mitchell, Frank Arneson, you know, they've done 100 times better than this guy. You know what I mean? He went back to his old club because he got desperate in January. You know what I mean? You know, the signings that he's made that have been successful, he already bought in himself already from other clubs. So it's not imaginative or anything like that at all. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but I'm sorry that there's too much evidence that this guy is just not. I'm sorry, he's not. I mean, it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic, and it just shows Tottenham fans clutching at straws again about somebody. We just look embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing. Keep on banging on about this guy. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens in the summer. We'll see what happens in the summer. And everything I said again, the foundations that Conte's gives, the foundation that he brings in terms of winning stuff and everything else, that needs to continue. And I don't think he'll be around after Conte leaves anyway. I think he'll just go because he keeps on talking about long term and that's it. But like I said, that's all I'm going to say on the subject. Because
do you think he'll give Conte the proper backing, or do you think he'll give Conte the proper backing, or do you think he'll just make sort of leady signings?
Well, at the end of the day, he's been given the task of dealing with everything at the end of the day. From what I understand, the final negotiation will be with Levy because he won't be able to negotiate that. And I've seen the history, the background of him, so he won't be able to do that. Somebody else did that for him at Juventus, and I know who that guy was. So, you know, I mean, and I'm not going to go into that too much because I will say that on my channel. Just give you a little teaser on that one. But like I said before, like this guy's not been impressive whatsoever. Going back to your old club and getting 2 signings and getting the defender of the year, who you bought in already from somebody else as well. I'm sorry, it's not been impressive. You know, you're banging on about getting Tamiyasu all last summer, ended up getting Emerson Real. You're banging on about getting Traore in January. You didn't end up getting him. When he didn't even want to come because he didn't want to play right wing back anyway. When you're banking on him coming right wing back, I mean, honestly, it's ridiculous. The guy for me needs to do more. And like I said, it's a big summer for him in the summer. A big summer,
good argument,
massive summer for him to prove a point.
Just quickly, Dave, James Watson, I did brush over. He's celebrating 13 months, Dave, which is basically how long basically the channel has practically been around. And he's saying, 1 year today, boys, the growth has been incredible to watch. Maybe one day I'll hop on a members stream. Much love from Canada. Come on, you Spurs. James, absolute legend. And Dave, he's been around for a very long time. Absolute veteran, you got to say.
Just 1 year, did you say? Jesus
13 months. 13 months, yeah.
The channel's not too much more older than that, so... You know, fair play to the guy. Fair play to Jamesy boy. Big yourself up, my man.
Big up. Absolute legend. But yeah, Dave, sorry. Yeah, getting on to the topic. It seems like, you know, Alex, he's not ready, you know, to call him the Don. And, you know, he's thinking about the transfers that you could say maybe didn't go well, / the transfers that never ended up happening as maybe reasons for why you can't call him the Don yet.
I mean, look, for me, I call him the Don. Because I do believe he's going to solve a lot of the problems at Tottenham. He's tasked to come in and purely rip down what Paratici or what Steve Hitchen built, which is not a bad thing. But B, because, I mean, why do we have to slate everybody before they even come into Tottenham Hotspur or why they're at Tottenham Hotspur? Why can't we just sit there and big people up? Why do we always have to sit there and wait? Like, you know, even this whole world-class thing, I had this debate on Spurs related last week, actually. It's like, why do you have to wait for a player to go on to like Real Madrid or someone like that before you sit there and go, yeah, he's world class? Why can't you call him world class at Tottenham if he's come in and he's showing that sort of ability? I mean, look, for me, when it comes to Paratici, look, I get what people are saying. He went back to his old club, but at the end of the day, you can call that stupid business all you want, or he panicked in the window all you want, or else you could look at it and say, okay, he went back to his old club, the opportunity arose, and he knew exactly what he was going to get from Bentancur and Kulusevski, 2 professionals that are going to come in and work hard, that are technically good and can help this Spurs team out. And I think that's smart business. It's very smart business. At the end of the day, we were chasing Kulusevski, right? We can talk about Traore all we want, but we were linked with Kulusevski before the window even opened, and we were thinking we'd have to wait to the summer. But the fact that they got in Vlahovic opened the door for us to go and get Kulusevski. I would, looking at what Kulusevski's done and looking at what Traore has done as it was over the last couple of years, I'd much rather Kulusevski than Traore. You go into Bentancur. Again, we got him in because Zakaria went to Juve. Again, the door opened up for us to get a centre midfielder. And I'm glad he went and addressed that centre midfield position, because it's one that I identified all January transfer window, all leading up to it, when everyone was asking me, what do you want this January? I want someone in midfield that can get on the ball and play football. I'm sick of watching Harry Winks. Bentancur has come in and done that. And between the two signings he's got in, they've completely transformed our season. We're now going for a top 4 spot. Kulusevski and Bentancur, no one can sit here and argue that they haven't transformed this team. And I mean, you can call them rejects all you want, Alex. The point is Kulusevski is 21. Vlahovic went to Juve. He became available. But this is a guy that was in the Golden Boy running, which is one of the best under 21 players in Europe. Bentancur has been solid for Juve up until this season. Same as Kulusevski. Even when they loaned Kulusevski out to Parma, he was brilliant. He had an impact. And at the end of the day, you can sit here and call these signings rejects, or he went back to his own club. But you can guarantee we probably had other deals lined up, or we were looking at other players. Like we had Amrabat lined up. You're sitting here telling me you'd rather Amrabat than Bentancur. We lined up Amrabat. It was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, Juve signed Zakaria. We went to Juve. Oh, well, does that mean Bentancur's free? And we went and got a better player. This guy is a good operator. He got it right in January. You go back to the summer. Now, Alex, you keep saying, he's talking about long-term. Yeah, of course he's talking about long-term, because he was here before Conte and he's going to stay after Conte. He's completely ripping down the scouting department and building up. He's completely had to rip apart our squad to rebuild the squad. Now, I get people don't want it to take time, and I get people want our budgets to be astronomical. But that's just not the way it is at Tottenham. And we have to accept that. And if you're looking at it, if you want this guy to go and sign all these class players and everything else, which we all want, by the way, but he has to start tearing down the squad first, because he has to work within a wage budget. And he's done that. He's shipping on players. He's got out the troublemakers. Now, I've always said this, when he comes in, he was never, ever, ever going to get it done in one window. It was always going to take 2, 3, 4 windows before you really start seeing the full benefits of it. And the fact that we're starting to see some of the benefits already after January transfer window, for me, I think shows that this guy can operate. You look at the Galini one. Now, I get it. Look, he's not going to take over Hugo Lloris's position, but he's better than Joe Hart. And Hugo Lloris, we didn't know whether he was going to sign his contract or not. And if Hugo Lloris opted against signing his contract, he would have signed for somewhere for free, and we would have been stuck looking for a goalkeeper, and we would have been charged whatever we want, because every club knew we wanted a goalkeeper. So he's brought this guy in on loan. If he meets certain targets, we pay for it, and we have an option to pay for it. So he's brought in cover for that situation, just in case that situation arose. You look at Emerson. Now, a lot of people were talking about Emerson before he actually got to Tottenham. Now, it hasn't worked out since he's come here, granted. But the guy's 22. We had Kyle Walker loaned out Aston Villa at 22. For me, that's a guy you got to give a bit more time to. You look at Brian Hill. Okay, Gil Messi, I really wanted it to work out. It didn't work out. But he's been put out on loan on Valencia, and he's absolutely ripping it up out there. He's a player for the future. Paratici, he has to be able to rip down the place before he can rebuild it. It's just like building... You buy a plot of land, there's already a house on it, but you want to build a hotel. You have to knock down that house before you go and build that hotel. And it's exactly what Paratici has to do to be able to meet the budgets. He has to be able to knock it down to be able to build it up. And it was always going to take time. But people that are sitting here calling this guy Con Paratici after 6 months, people that are comparing him to Paul Mitchell and Frank Arneson, the guy's been here 6 months. Give him time. Why are we so quick to tear him down? Why are we so quick to pull him apart? When you know it's a position and a role in football that you've got to give time to before you see the fruits and the benefits of that person. Also,
and if we admit maybe that Steve Hitchen was significantly hurt and halted by Daniel Levy, it seems like Paratici is doing quite a fine job. Maybe despite what Levy could do to him, and I think that points to what Bob Spurs is saying. Paratici might be great, however, there's only one man who decides if he becomes a Don or not, and that's the guy signing the checks. We'll know by week 2 in the summer who's running the show. I think we all know who's still running the show, but it seems like maybe no matter what budget is given to either maybe a Steve Hitchen or a Paratici, perhaps the evidence is showing so far, I feel like, that Paratici would do better with whatever budget was given to him, even if it was a Levy budget.
On this, I just want to say, I just want to finish off my point. I agree with Bob. Like, ultimately, it comes down to the guy who signs the checks. But here's another, and this leads me on to my final point. And the final point I want to make. It's all well and good having Steve Hitchen there, and Steve Hitchen going out to Milan and coming back and saying Inter Milan wants 70 million for Skriniar. And Levy's like, but the thing is, Hitchen, we have 50 million. You know the budget, you know the finances, you know we have 50 million. Can you not negotiate something? No, I can't. Okay? Now, when you look at Paratici, look at the way he structured deals at Tottenham Hotspur. He's worked within the budget he's given. And this guy, for me, I would much rather have a guy that can work within the budget that he's given and manipulate it and stretch it, rather than have a guy who goes out looking for players and doesn't know how to negotiate. At the end of the day, you look at the amount of money that Steve Hitchen has spent at Tottenham, and he spent it wrong. He spent it completely wrong. The fact that Paratici has come in here, his last 3 signings, Romero, Kulusevski, and Bentancur. And a lot of people were calling them rejects, by the way. Name 3 better signings over the last 5 years than them. You can't. You cannot. Name 3 signings that have come in and helped the club and the squad the way they have. You can't. So my point is, if it's a role that it has to be given time before you can see the fruits of the labor, give the guy time. Stop being so quick to write him off. Stop being so quick to put him down. We've done the same with the players coming in Bentancur and Kulusevski this January. Before they even got here, they're rejects, they're this, they're that. Well, they've proved everybody wrong. They've proved absolutely everybody that was saying that wrong. We've developed a culture here where we're all being so frustrated and we all have our say and our opinion, which is fine, which is what we should have as fans, right? But what we shouldn't be doing is pulling down people that are being brought in to help us before they've even been given the chance to do it.
Love that, David. Absolutely.
That was powerful. That was the most powerful moment you'll ever see from me on YouTube.
I was going to say, Dave, that was the most today, whatever it's been, or whatever the good stuff is in, maybe Dave, ever been off the cigarettes, maybe since, been off the cigarettes, maybe the mind is thinking,
honestly, it was just the most like the biggest monologue I've ever heard in my whole life. Bloody hell, never heard so.
It's one you would want to listen to in a theater, Alex.
Absolute rubbish.
Absolute
notes, Alex. Rubbish.
But Alex, I'm pretty sure you said, you kind of want to start wrapping things up, which I think is honestly completely fair.
I could wrap it up, but I need to respond to that long monologue.
But also Faz has a question for you as well, Alex, as well. He's saying, can you name a better player that's been signed since Romero, Bentancur, and Kulusevski? When do you think that last was? Was it Son? Was that maybe the last best player maybe we signed since then?
Moura, possibly. If you're looking at it from afar, maybe if you're looking at it. But the point I make is, no, he hasn't done enough, and it's still going to be Daniel Levy doing the checks. And also, I need to make something as well about this whole thing about Steve Hitchen. As far as I'm concerned, it wasn't his fault. Yes, he made mistakes with certain signings. He definitely did it, but the evidence was that he got the deals to a certain point, which is what Paratici does at the end of the day. He does the same thing that Hitchen does, because the evidence is there in Juventus as
Alex,
well.
when you say that, you're talking about the deals we missed out on.
Okay, but as I said before, you interrupted me, like I said, because you know I'm going to make a good point here. As I said before, it's still the same as Steve Hitchen. So the same guy is going to be signing the checks anyway. You know what I mean? Yes. And as I said before, he panicked in January. Because at the end of the season, and I made this point to Iggy as well. If it was such a good deal, those 2 players, Right, those two players, and don't tell me about they had to get that striker in the deal. It was going to save up for that striker. They could have got him at the beginning of the transfer window.
No, he
at
couldn't.
the January transfer window. You could still got him at the beginning of the transfer window. They said he could have. He still could have.
No,
so I'm sorry. No, I'm not having it, David. No, David. No, David. You've had 25 minutes of talking. You've had your 25 minutes of talking, bro. You've had your 25 minutes of talking, bro. So I'm going to say because you know I'm going to make some.
Hang on. No, he's interrupting me all night long. No.
What?
No, you have. No, you have. And I'm not sitting back, right? And I'm interrupting you now because you've interrupted me all night long. But before you move on, I want to address something. The two signings he's made has improved this squad without a doubt, right?
No.
Yes, they have.
Now we're getting me going now, bro. Now you're getting me going now, bro.
No, Steve Hitchen.
No, I am not having that. No,
Hitchen.
Sorry, Dave. Sorry, Jack, but this is going off now. Sorry, Jack. No. Listen to this right now. Mr. Box Office is going to have to sort some sense into this guy again, because I'm looking at this right now. Steve Hitchen tried to get in Grealish. He tried to get in Skriniar. He tried to get in Fernandez. He tried to get in other players, Diaz. He all negotiated to another point. Brought it to Levy. He failed him. Absolutely failed him. Right? So you're telling me now, because Paratici now has done this and he's doing this. He still could have got him at the beginning of the transfer window. Could have done it at January. Could have done it in January.
January transfer window operates that. And a club, and if I don't know whether you listen to pundits, whether you listen to.
So I need to listen to
let me finish. I don't know whether you listen to journalists and everybody else when it comes to the transfer window. And by the way, even your favourite, Alistair Gold, he'll even tell you this: no club lets a player move on unless they have a player lined up to bring in January transfer window. It's the known thing around football, obviously bar you, Alex, but that's the known thing. So we couldn't have got Kulusevski in until the Vlahovic deal happened, and that's the truth of it. Whether you like to, whether you think we could have got it done at January, we couldn't have. We had to wait for them to bring in a player in the 4 positions before they could let Kulusevski go.
Oh, we were missing about with Diaz.
Whether you like it or not, that's the truth.
We were missing about with Diaz for how long, bruv? Right? We're missing about with Diaz. So Diaz, don't know what you're chatting about, bro.
What can we do?
Missing about with Diaz. Yeah.
What can we do about
Diaz?
that?
What's going on with Diaz then, bruv? The man that goes for 10 signings goes to 10
Alex, do you think it probably sounds good on paper, though?
I've never heard
all the players that he said he misses out on sounds good on paper. It sounds good on
guy.
paper, Alex. All the players he missed out on, it kind of sounds nice. You could say, I missed out on Grealish, I missed out on Dybala, I actually got you Gio Lo Celso. Maybe that just sounds nice on paper. Maybe that isn't actually true.
He got a rough deal. He made some mistakes. He wasn't better than Paul Mitchell, no. But he had a rough deal. And the fact is, ever since he's at Juventus, Paratici, he doesn't follow a strategy. The strategy was followed by when he was with Giuseppe Marotta. As soon as Giuseppe Marotta left, he went downhill at Juventus. I'm not going to say any more because I'm spoiling what I'm going to tease on my channel at the end of the day because I've got all the information there anyway. So it doesn't really matter what I say. But like I said, there's been worrying signs already with the fact that he brought in Nuno, tried to bring in Gattuso. You know what I mean? So the worrying signs are already there. So you're waffling, saying, "Oh, by the way, he got in Romero, he got in Kulusevski, he got in Bentancur. By the way, he brought him in already, bro. So he's already got him already. I know you can say that. Oh, Harry Redknapp does that as well, but I'm not being funny. I mean, he's supposedly a recruiter, a scout, a head scout. Harry Redknapp's a manager who buys the players and actually coaches the players as well. So what's his excuse at the end of the day?
Because he's not a manager. He's not.
Well, no. What's his excuse at the end of the day? What I'm saying to you, what is his excuse?
But you're talking.
The only thing I give credit for him at the moment, he's got to sort out the whole scouting network because we messed it up. The whole scouting network. I think
he actually is. They're overriding.
That's the only thing I'm going to give it to him. But there's still a long way to go as far as I'm concerned. So I'm sorry, I'm not hearing that rubbish.
Do you think Paratici should be on the pitch training players then?
Pardon?
Do you think Paratici should be on?
No, I didn't say that. I said to you that Harry Redknapp had to deal with the buying of the players and manage the players as well. as far as I'm concerned. So the thing is, what's his excuse? Because all he needs to do is manage the,
you think
back,
Harry
back
Redknapp
office.
was sitting there in the negotiating for the players?
No, but he was putting out what players he needed
he didn't
as well.
buy the players then, did he?
Yes, but he was still in charge of, because he wouldn't get he wouldn't have Levy putting out what players he wanted, wasn't he? Didn't he?
Say that again.
He wasn't a manager. He was a proper manager who brought the players in as well as doing the managing of the team as well. He
didn't bring the players because he wasn't sitting in the negotiations.
He was a proper manager.
Negotiations.
Well, he's part of the negotiations, though, wasn't he?
No, he does what every other manager does. You go to the board, you tell him what sort of players you want.
Yeah, tell him what he wants, yes. But then also, he was in charge of what he wanted as well.
No, he wasn't.
He was.
No, he wasn't.
He was.
No, he wasn't. His famous line.
Because Harry would never have a player that he didn't want.
His famous line.
He wouldn't come into
Cahill and Tevez, and he got Zaha and Nelson. So he didn't get the players he wanted, Alex.
Well, that was at that time, though, when we didn't have that much money, though, Bob. So he made it quite clear that he wasn't happy with the players he didn't got, though.
Now you're changing your argument because I just...
Oh, well, here we go. Because you want the last word, didn't you? I'll give you the last word so we can just move on. Because you're just going on too much, Bob. I had to listen to your monologue for 25 minutes and you tried to stop me because I needed to go for 25 minutes, boy. Honestly, I've never heard a waffle in my life.
You're sitting here saying Paratici done the...
here we go.
Which he didn't. And then when I told you he didn't get the players he wanted, now you want to talk about budgets. But you don't want to talk about budgets when it comes to Paratici.
Well, I mean, the fact is, Paratici's not that great. Simple as that. You know what I mean?
No,
you keep on banging on about it. No. Because you've gone on for 25 minutes. Like I said, your 25 minutes of fame is done. You know what I mean? You're out of here, Bob. You're done. You're done out of here, Bob. The fact is, Paratici's not good enough at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned. Until the summer, until next year, until Conte leaves, I will admit that we'll see whether he's good enough as well. But at the end of the day, you're going over the top like he did. You've gone over the top. Remember the time you were going on over the top about Mourinho, by the way, mate? Remember the time you were going about Mourinho, by the way? And then you're saying, by the way, we need to let him go, by the way. We do need to let him go.
What did you say to me a few months after on Jose Mourinho? Oh, maybe we should have
Mourinho at the moment. Oh, I can't believe it now. I've got to go back on myself a little bit now. Oh, my gosh, I cannot believe it.
Oh, he's rattled when he's behaving like that. You know he's rattled.
You're Mr. Hype Man.
I'm just going to get the messages of you saying to me,
here we go.
Oh,
God.
Because this is true.
Ladies and gentlemen, David Harris is chatting away now.
Let me just tell everybody out there.
Now. Here we go. Clutching at straws now. Here we go.
You won't let me speak because he's rattled.
Oh, here we go.
Yes,
I'm not rattled, bruv. I'm just chatting.
Alex, he's got the homework to present.
What I'm going to say is right. He brings up Jose Mourinho.
I do my homework, bruv, because I do my homework every single day, bruv. Because I banter you every single day, bruv. Banter you every single day, bruv.
Alex,
right. When he talks about Jose Mourinho, for months when Jose was here, all he done was cry. No. Months later down the line, right, what does he ring me? He turn around and say to me, and he texts me, I got the text to prove it. He goes, maybe you're right about Jose Mourinho. Maybe we shouldn't have sacked him. You know, honestly, the guy talks waffle. He brings up Jose to try and prove a point, but then forgets what he said to me a couple of months down the line after he got the sack. He's rattled. He's absolutely rattled. Paratici's last three signings has rattled Alex. Kulusevski, Bentancur, and Romero have come in and improved this team without a doubt. One in the four positions, one in the midfield, and one in the centre back. And Alex is rattled by it because everything he said about Paratici's last three signings have proven otherwise, and he's rattled. That's why he's behaving like that.
Oh, stop it now! Let him have his last word.
Speaking of somebody who's never rattled, Gogama in here with the super sticker, and it's her favorite one, Dave. It's just, the cat or the heart coming out with the hearts, just showing a bit of love for everybody, showing a bit of love for the chat as well. Hopefully you can see that okay. And I know it's a bit hard, but everybody, there it is. There it is, Gogama. I do really appreciate all the support, and it's good to have you in here as always, Gogama. Always blessed to have you. Jerome getting his say in, saying Kulu, Romero, and Bentancur are great signings, but Paratici also signed a flop like Royale at an exorbitant price. I feel like the Royale price was like 22 million pounds, exorbitant. You could probably say, considering maybe what he was at the end of the day. Maybe we did overpay probably for him. I don't think we overpaid for him considering what we've done for other players. We paid 27 million for Bergwijn. We paid 40 something million for Sanchez. at one stage. We paid a lot more for other players. We paid 13, 14 million for Jack Clark. It kind of puts the whole, Emerson Royale payment. Maybe it is a bit of a flop. Maybe it is a bit of an overpayment. In terms of the grand scheme of things, I think it doesn't really rank that poorly at all. But Jerome, maybe you do raise a good point there where Royale was maybe more of a signing for Nuno and, wasn't really a quality player that maybe we were bringing in. We were just bringing in somebody that would fit that Nuno system. But you could at least say, Paratici, he's buying players for Nuno. Now he's buying players for Conte. Maybe there's a bit of evidence that he does buy players for the manager, you could say. But I think Kulu, Romero, and Bentancur are unbelievable signings, no matter what. He also says, Dave, that Steve Hitchen tried to get this and that, but he failed. He is as much to blame like Levy because he could not finish the deal for Grealish.
I don't agree with that.
This is the thing. People want to criticize Paratici, but want to give Steve Hitchen a free pass. How can you criticize Paratici and hold him to his role, but then not hold Steve Hitchen to his role and blame Daniel Levy?
It's absolutely absurd. It's facts. I don't even know why we're going on about it, bruv. You just keep again banging on about the same thing. You say the same thing other people say as well, bruv. It's just so boring, bruv.
Alex, please.
I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Jerome. Just why I'm addressing the super chat, because he needs to learn that when you're addressing the super chat, he has to be quiet. So look, when it comes to this, I just don't get why people give Steve Hitchen a free pass and blame Daniel Levy, but then criticize Paratici because he's not doing this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, Steve Hitchen spent over 300 million to try and fix things and done absolutely nothing. Paratici has come in and 3 of his signings have already improved the mess that Steve Hitchen built. So I don't get why we give him a free pass.
Yeah, I think just the same excuse then applies to both of them. And then it applies to every director of football we've had, where there then is no point to talk about what Paratici has done wrong. If we're going to give excuses for Hitchen and the 300 million he has certifiably gone to waste, then I feel like there's no reason to then really talk about Paratici. But if we do want to judge the directors of football harshly, if we do want to, look at maybe what they've done wrong and what they've done right, then you have to put, I think, Steve Hitchen under the same microscope. Absolutely spot on, Jerome. And then William Kelly saying, Alex, I've called a taxi for you, brother. Time's up to go home and lick your wounds. William Kelly's gotten a bit rattled by that because he didn't want David to answer that super chat. And he's, he seems like he's left, since.
And let me be clear. The only reason why I booted him off is because I'm in the middle of answering a super chat. People can send in their hard-earned money. Then you got to let us at least answer the super chats and be respectful when they come in. So that's the only reason why I done that. You can't just scream and shout when people are sending their good hard-earned money to ask questions and put in super chats. You got to be respectful and let us answer them at least.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think it was actually a good point, raised by Jerome. And I feel like, maybe Jerome was maybe a bit too scared to answer it. Maybe by the looks of it, he was a bit too rattled by it, perhaps.
Well, I mean, you can come in after, but just when you're in the middle of answering a super chat, let the person answer it.
Jerome also saying, oh, Alex, you are an entertainer. I just love whenever he comes on because he can get David fired up. He gives David his best. To be honest, you could say it is a beautiful marriage because he brings the best out of David, you could argue. And then David brings the best out of Alex. I've never seen a guy get the best out of Alex more than David does. And I've never seen a guy get the best out of David more than Alex does.
I've absolutely schooled him tonight, lad. Absolutely took him to the cleaners. Everyone's been in here all stream long. What's this guy talking about? And I've just hit him with facts. He did say at the very beginning, the truth hurts. And I've given them the truth. And if it hurts, well, then I'm sorry.
Big up, Jerome. Well, we do want to bring him back. But since Dave just put him in the background, he's left since then, Dave.
Well, look, that was up to him to leave. The instructions were simple. Let us answer the super chat. And he couldn't let him do it. If he left off the back of that, that's up to him.
We're waiting for him to come back, everybody, but I guess we might as well just plug his channel, because we were going to do that anyway, and he wanted to go pretty soon anyway. I'm confused why he left because he did want to go anyway quite soon. Yeah. This is, everybody, Alex's channel. You can find exactly what he wants to say about Paratici, which I think he said he was even saving his opinions for, so you can head on over to his channel. He's also I think getting quite close to 200 as well. So everybody do get him up to 200. I think Alex absolutely deserves it. Spurs fan, just like us. And he does deserve every single sub. And he also is the box office man. He is the entertainer, like Jerome says as well. So no other reason to give him that. that sub button. And also, we love Alex. He's one of the nicest guys in the world as well. He stands up for us. He stood by us. He stands up for us. Absolutely love Alex. Just seems like the cage got a bit rattled, a bit too much, I must say. But might as well just see what he has to say over on his channel as well.
No, look, do get over to Alex's channel and smash that subscribe button. Me and him actually do get on behind the scenes, believe it or not. We actually do. It's just funny that he always says I'm running for him, and he's the one that's gone and done the runner. But anyway, it is what it is. But look, Alex, he is a good guy. He is funny. He's an entertainer. Do get over there and smash that subscribe button on his channel, guys. But look, Jack, any more questions? Was that it?
That was pretty much it, because I think Alex wanted to go. He said at 2 hours anyway. That's when he wanted to go, and he wanted to stick around. And I think we were just going to answer the super chats and leave. And it seemed like, I guess, that happened in one way or another at the end of the day. But yeah, Dave, I think we were going to finish off with that question anyways.
No, well, look, there you have it, guys. Make sure tomorrow is our Irish Hotspur day off every Friday. But make sure you tune back in Saturday. Stats with Jack. We'll also be putting up a little something on maybe should we sell? Do we really need to improve on Regulon next season, or can we get by with them and use the money elsewhere? And then Sunday, of course, back for then the pre-match build-up and the watch-along as well. And then we'll have player ratings and then a match breakdown where we show you the tactics and absolutely everything else that goes along with it, guys. But Jack, where can people find you, my man?
We do have Tottenham on tour, though, as well, everybody. We're going to be over on Tottenham on tour tomorrow, so you can find us for that show tomorrow morning. At least I think it's around 3 p.m. UK time, 10 a.m. my time. I'm also going to be on Dermot's channel, everybody. You can find me there tomorrow. In terms of Flat Cap, I did a show on basically all unknown players that are having really good seasons, unknown players that are having better seasons than Dybala, better seasons than Messi, random 33-year-olds that are creating some of the most chances in Europe. I think something that is really entertaining. I also gave my thoughts on Frank Lampard and why I think he's honestly not a good fit for Everton, and why I just don't really, feel like he is the right sort of manager to become good in the future. And then as well, over on Flat Cap, we are going to be coming up with more shows, and I've given a big poll on shows that you want to see. Scout Reports are keeping it up, a bit more active on Instagram. I would just say no better time to subscribe over there and stick by me, because I am trying to improve the content and kind of improve the communication a lot more, I feel like, amongst the channel as well.
No, exactly, guys. Do get over there to the Flat Cap Your Talk. But I was just about to say, we finally have him back. Finally, Alex, and I've been saying to the people, the only reason why I've done it is because I was in the middle of answering a super chat. When it's super chats and people are putting in their good hard-earned money, you got to be respectful and let us do it.
Well, I was being respectful. But the fact is, you were going on too much, and you were going on too much. I don't even know. Well, you're being naughty. I'm sorry, I'm not having that excuse. We can be respectful to super chats, but bruv, you're having a go at me, bruv. So I've got the right to apply as well. So as far as I'm concerned, there was no excuse for that at all. But there was no excuse at all for that. I was naughty.
But now you can refute the point.
Yeah. I'm not going to refute the point. It's done now, man. I'm not going to go there anymore. But as far as I'm concerned, naughty, David. You should never have done that. Never. I had to. No, naughty. No, you don't do that. No, you don't. That's not very nice at all. That's not very nice at all.
Alex,
sorry. Alex. No, David. No, I'm sorry. No,
I'm going to hear what you're saying.
David. Don't. Sorry, David. That's not fair at all. Sorry.
No, Alex. I'm not going
to say any more on it. I don't want to say any more on it, but I didn't like that at all, to be honest.
Okay, you don't have to say any more.
But I'm going to leave it there. I'll leave it there. Okay. Because I was going to come back on the show, to be honest with you, after that anyway. After that, I was thinking about just leaving it there, to be honest with you, because I wasn't happy.
Yeah, that's fine. But now
I wasn't happy with it.
Leave it there, so leave it there. I'm going to say something else. Okay.
I wasn't happy with it.
You're saying it's not fair.
I wasn't happy.
No, let me finish.
I don't like that.
Let me finish.
I'm sorry. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that at all.
Do you think it's fair on Jerome?
Well, I was listening to it, but you're having a go at me as well, so I've got a right to reply
Alex,
as well.
You're not listening. You're not listening.
Okay.
You're saying
Alex, the point he's trying to say is that we were reading aloud the super chat. We were reading aloud the super chat.
Do you think it's fair on Jerome that I'm trying to answer his super chat and you're there speaking over? It's not fair on the guy. So
I wasn't. You weren't. You were having a go at me as well.
Come on and talk about it not being fair. When I'm trying to answer the guy's super chat, and it's his good hard-earned money.
I understand, but I wasn't having a go at you. But you're having a go at me as well at the same time. No, it's not. I was having a go, so that's it. But I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that at all. No, I'm sorry. I wasn't going to come back as well. I wasn't going to come back as well because I thought that was taking the mick.
Taking the mick 4 times.
No, sorry, no, that's taking the mick, David. That's taking the mick.
4 times.
I'm off. I'm done. I'm sorry. I can't deal with this.
That's fine. But I asked you 4 times to let me address the super chat, and you wouldn't. 4 fucking times I asked you.
Jerome saying at the end of the day, we all have our own opinion, and that's what makes a great show. So big up to the boys and Alex for the entertainment. Feels like I'm just confused because Alex wanted to go off around that time anyways. That's the time we even agreed on for him to get off anyways. So I think he's just, Dave, he's reached the end of the argument and the steam is just, coming out a bit.
No, 100%, 100%, I get it. But don't come on here and say it's not fair when I asked you 3 or 4 times to let me address the super chat. And I asked you nicely, and you want to keep going because you believe you're Mr. Box Office. You wouldn't do it on any one other channel when there's a super chat there. Let me address it, and I told him he can refute it after. But he didn't want to do it that way. He wanted to do it his own way. And because he didn't get his own way, he's throwing the toys out of his brand.
Jerome, really appreciate the support, my man. And also, I think you're more than right, my man. I'm just going to do it again, though. Everybody, do head on over to Alex's channel, though, because at the end of the day, Alex does deserve a bit of support over there. And also, he gives all of his opinions just on his own, where you can just listen to him. If you just want to listen to just his opinions without any sort of debate, without any sort of back and forth, head on over to Alex's channel. Everybody does deserve the support.
Yeah. No, big up, everybody. But look, we are going to leave it there, guys. We're going to end off. And like I said, we'll see you back here Saturday and Sunday. As always, in Conte we trust. Come on, you Spurs.